There we go.
Alrighty. G'day everybody. It's Zane here with Vinnie again. Boom TCG Cast. We're here this week at Badger to do
We are
their
indeed.
top cup. Their cup.
Their
My
cup.
goodness.
Feels a bit like a top cut though, because
Yeah.
we've only got 3 rounds of Swiss today.
Yep. So 7 Masters, 7 Seniors. So it'll be best or final standings after 3 Swiss rounds today.
Yep.
So in and out. Bit of a quick one today.
For sure. We'll be able to grab some pints after.
Yeah.
then.
Absolute treat. Cannot wait.
Best of both worlds.
100%.
How were you feeling today, Zane?
I'm feeling excited. Always happy to be here. Always happy to give a cast a go. I think we've got some interesting decks here on the field. So
For sure.
hopefully we get to see a little bit of spice on stream. But otherwise, just happy to be here. Yourself?
Very much the same thing. Yeah. Doing very well today. Happy to cast again. It's been a while,
has.
and it's the end of the season, so we're gonna have to make the most out of it.
It is. I would be remiss not to mention that the Warriors are doing incredibly well. To stray from Pokemon very briefly, 5 on the trot, the best start we've ever had to the season. So up the wires, keep
Very
it up.
nice.
What about you? Any home sports doing well, or any
No.
of your teams you support doing well?
No, I'm all about Pokemon, honestly. All
Yeah.
about the trading card games or esports.
That's very
I'm
fair.
not really keeping up to date with that. Shall we get to our first game?
We should,
I don't know
we
if the
should.
players. I think the players are setting up.
Alright.
We can go have a look at that very quickly.
Bring this in. So for this first game, we have Gage on Joltik Box playing Harry on a bit of a Dragapult build, looking like a slow Dragapult build. I would say with an interesting kind of addition there, Vinny. Should we save that for when they get into the game? Should we
I
start
think
talking
so.
about it now?
I think let's wait till the first spicy basic comes down, because it does have a few inclusions that are out there, to say the least.
100%.
And on the other side, Gage is playing a fairly standard list.
Yeah, one would say. Looking at it, I don't see anything particularly spicy. Possibly the Volcanion,
All right, yeah. So
to get that additional chip damage in.
yeah,
But outside of that, no, I think it's a pretty standard Joltik list.
the Volcanion will help you with. The Volcanion will help you with the opposing Pikachu's, but also to hit that 320 mark, right?
There you go. Alright.
Thank you, Luke, our head judge of today, for kicking off this first round, and we're off.
All right, and so we see Budju start for Harry and Joltik start for Gage. Probably ideal start from the both of them. Is that just a pass from Gage to start the game, or was that a...
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait till Harry plays a supporter to know if Gage had the draw pass situation there.
Oh, that's never a good start. However, you're not too worried. I suppose, actually, with a Crispin, he could potentially win this turn. As Crispin, for the second attack from Dreepy, is 40 damage.
Oh.
So
I think there's another basic on the bench. It's there's
yeah.
a little bit of a glare situation with it, which we didn't think of. But it looks like a shiny Pokemon EX of sorts.
Pokemon and EX and Joltik box, I don't know. You might be pushing the boat a bit too far out on that one.
Is it? I'm not sure. So
All right.
on Harry's side, we see 2 Dreepy coming down and a Psychic Energy being committed to the one of them. And we're back to Gage's side. So it might have just been Gage playing it safe and benching a Pokemon just in case Harry plays some mean Donk deck or something.
100%. Always a smart idea. You never want to give away too much to your opponent by what you're playing. However, starting a Joltik, there are no other decks in the format that are really playing Joltik. But it can be smart to not give your opponent much information. But with the prevalence of some Donk decks, we don't have Clorth Terapagos like we used to, but we do still have Poison Archaludon, which is annoying to say the least. So it's always smart to get just a second Pokemon down to save yourself from that.
Indeed, just starting with a Secret Box would have been enough for the Archaludon player in that case. But luckily, we didn't see a quick game 1 of that sort. So Gage played an Arven for supporter for turn and doing a quick price check here.
Looking like a rescue board and unsure on the item. I can't tell if that's a Miraidon. If it weren't a Miraidon, You'd think he might want to get a nest ball for that if he has an energy in hand. However,
Yeah.
is there much energy search in the list? There's the one earthen vessel.
Right.
So we're seeing nest ball plus bravery charm. Nest ball presumably to get a Miraidon down. There we go. Miraidon. Is that a Volcanion on the table?
I think it might
I
be
think
the
it,
full
yeah.
art Volcanion. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
we're nest ball gets us Iron Hands. No Pikachu. Oh, sorry, nest ball got us Miraidon, which then got us Iron Hands. Not seeing a Pikachu coming down at this point. And we see the grass energy attached, and we will see a jolting charge from Gage there. Second nest ball, one would assume for a Latias, maybe. There we go.
seems like you've played this deck before, Zane.
I've never played it, but there's a lot of jolting box at my locals, so I'm familiar
Right.
playing against it.
Fair enough, but that's the jolting charge as you predicted. With only the Iron Hands on the bench, you'd assume 4 or at least 3 energy would go there. But Gage is not messing around. He knows Dragapult has a very hard time responding to an Iron Hands, let alone an Iron Hands with a Bravery Charm. So fully committed to that play here.
That was the Hourglass attachment.
So it is indeed giving away a little bit of the spice already, but in this case it won't do much apart from shutting down Gage's Prime Catcher, I would assume.
100%. We will just confirm that. Prime catcher, yeah.
Yes.
So Gage will have to dig a little deeper to try and get any knockout. However, playing how many bosses there? 4 bosses orders are probably the most gusting you could have in the format with 4 bosses and a prime catcher. Is there a count catcher on the list? Not that I can see.
Alright.
However, you don't tend to go behind with a jolting box. The strategy
No,
for
indeed.
people that haven't played it is to go ideally second, get a jolt it into the active, use jolting charge, one of the most efficient energy acceleration attacks we have in the format, accelerating 2 lightning, 2 grass energy to any Pokemon of your choice. And then turn 2, start swinging with Iron Hands, amp you very much. Taking 2 prizes on decks that need to take their time to evolve. This deck really accelerates with the heavy Dragapult and Gardevoir we're seeing in the format. But if we return to more of a big basic format of old, similar to the Sword and Shield block, where we might see Raging Bolts or other big basics, we'll probably see Joltik drop off.
Yeah, fair enough. The format's really well positioned for. Well, Jolting Box is really well positioned in that in this format because of the stage 2 decks taking more time, playing less rare candy, and they can really capitalize on that
100%.
and get out of the gate too fast for those decks to recuperate. But thank you for that walkthrough, Zane. In the meantime, Harry has set up, attached the fire energy to second to the Drippy that already had the psychic energy attached, and he's going to continue his board turn by playing Iono. So interestingly, Harry does play a couple of rare candy.
I'm a firm, and he's made the decision to not try and push for it. However, not spreading the energy out could come back to bite him. I think it's a tough one. I'm a firm believer in at least a rare candy. Even in Gardevoir decks of old, when people were playing purely TM Evos, I still think it's necessary just to kind of come back if you have your Pokemon sniped, whether back then it was something like Greninja or a Fluttermane in return, something that could take out 2 bench sitters.
Of
I
course,
think the rare candy's just a fail-safe.
it does exactly that. It helps you protect your energy as well, even if you've got the Drippy with 1 energy. Evolving it before you can attach a second energy will make it a lot harder for your opponent to punish, which Gage is going to be able to do straight away.
There we see the issue with not spreading out the energy from Harry, losing both in one Ampy very much. And because of Ampy very much's prize acceleration mechanics, Gage is going to be off to a flying start here, going up 2 prizes to nothing.
Indeed. We'll just have to see if Gage can start setting up a second attacker just to be safe. It doesn't look like Harry will be able to get back into the game next turn, but we have to play two routes and make sure that we can follow up if this Iron Hands would magically go down. Some Dragapult decks lately do play the Defiance Band,
That they
so
do. Yeah, I'm not seeing a Crispin in the list. However, not necessarily super important to start attacking with the Phantom Dive now, even if Harry is able to get a Jet Headbutt off with a Defiance Band. That's 100 damage. That means that Iron Hands is then in range for a Phantom Dive the turn after.
even when the Bravery Charm comes down, indeed.
We do see the spice we started mentioning with
Exactly.
Torchic hitting the bench on Harry's side. Vinny, would you like to tell the people at home what Torchic and Blaze can do in this instance?
Well, so Torchic eventually evolves into the Blaziken EX with its Seething Spirit ability, I believe it's called, allows you to accelerate the basic energy from your discard pile to any one of your Pokemon once per turn per Blaziken. So that is one way for Harry to get back into the game without using Crispin.
100%. It means that with a turn attach and a Blaziken ability, you can power up a Pokemon from nothing, which I think has come out a turn too late, to be completely fair. I feel like it's almost becoming a catchphrase at this point. Kiyoshi and a lot of the other people listening were giving me a lot of flack for it, but I think with how slow Dragapult is, you might want to concede at this point. I don't see Harry not losing an additional 2 prizes to Ampy very much this turn. And
No,
from
indeed.
there, all Gage needs is one more boss on a bench sitter to take the game.
Well, catchphrases are there for a reason. Usually they're just one that you use very often. And in this format, we've seen a lot of one-sided games, I feel.
That we have. And Dragapult is the comeback deck. It prides itself on going incredibly far behind, almost to the point you would say of no return, and then bringing it back. But with no damage on the board and nothing but an itchy pollen coming from Harry this turn, I think it could possibly be too little too late. We'll also have to see though. You never want to rule anything out, especially not a deck like Dragapult. But we will see.
No. One thing of note is that Gage is currently bench locked into no draw. So
Okay.
if we end up hitting him with an Iono while two-shotting this Iron Hands and Gage whiffs a few attachments for turn, he might have to take an off turn at some point, and that's when Harry would be getting the opportunity to take over the game.
That's a very good point. We saw a rare candy from the recon directive there on Harry's side. If he has the Blaziken in hand, we could see that coming up. There's
I think,
nothing.
I think the Torchic still has come down this turn for him, so
Yeah.
we haven't gone back to Gage yet. But it would be good for next turn.
It would.
There are 2 rare candy in the list, so even if this Dracula gets bossed again, we would be able to set up a Dragapult, accelerate enough energy to it, and then hit for 200, which is not going to be enough. But if we can slow down Gage with some disruption in Ionos cards in form of Ionos, then there might be a line. So
100%. We'll just see what Gage has been reset stamped into. One of Joltik Box's biggest weaknesses is that there's no inbuilt draw in the deck. You are very much playing off the hand without the board giving you too much. We do see Vinnie's favourite combo at times in Mew EX and Pheasantipity EX.
yep.
However, those are 2 precious bench spaces being taken up by those 2 Pokemon, which Gage does not have room for at the moment.
He does not indeed. So Harry could go for a 6-price turn at some point if he plays it smartly. Set up 200 on this Iron Hands, maybe prep Latias already with 10 or something, then go for another hit on one of those EXs and finish it up with a total of 3 Phantom Dice.
That is it. That is the tends to be the game plan with Dragapult decks. We see the Blaziken come out. Must have been wrong on that front, and it did come out the turn prior. It seems.
Right.
I think
It,
possibly.
I'm a bit confused, but if both players are okay with this, then
Must be all right.
Must
I
be
will
alright.
say Blaziken's my favourite Pokemon.
You must be happy about the new Torchic then that's coming out, the 70 HP one.
I have not even seen it.
It's going to do a lot for the Blaziken line, let me tell you. It's got 70 HP, which makes it easier to set up under all of the pressure of Phantom Dives. And at the same time, it also has a collect for 1 colorless. So
there we go. Oh my goodness. We see the reset stamp into boss. Harry had retreated the Budgie, hoping to slow Gage down from the attack, but we're just seeing another arm press on the Dragapult. Now Harry needs a rare candy and a Dragapult this turn. He only plays 2 rare candy on the list. So if he can't find it, he might be in a tough position.
did he go down to a 1 card hand?
He must have
Oh no.
played himself down to nothing.
There's a very big commitment there from Harry. But now I think the writing's on the wall for Harry, and Gage has not wasted any time.
No.
He knows that he's always going to be on the aggression. He's always going to look for the boss to finish up this game, well, for his turn. And yeah, even whiffing those attachments is not going to matter too much.
All right. Harry, having a think about where he'd like to take the game from here. You see it out. You see if Gage has a way to get the current Blaziken out of the active. But Harry would be asking a lot. 2 arm presses is all it takes to KO this Blaziken, as those arm presses are doing 160 each. And I think Blaziken has a total of 320 HP.
It does, yeah. It's a fairly standard stage 2 EX on that front.
We are seeing the arm press from Gage, putting Harry essentially on a 1-turn timer. I think the best card he could see right now would be an Iono. No research on the list, but we will see what the top deck is.
There we go.
It's an Ultra Ball. With no cards in hand, he cannot use it. You'd have to think this is a scoop and go game 2.
Yeah, you might as well give Gage the satisfaction of announcing arm press and taking his last 2 prizes. But yeah, there's nothing Harry can do in this situation.
No, and Gage has really shown us the absolute strengths of Joltik Box in the current format. Dragapult, Gardevoir, incredibly strong decks when they can get going, but Joltik just doesn't let them. 1 turn is all it takes to essentially power up the board for the rest of the game, and it's able to run away from there.
It definitely is. It doesn't need much. It just needs to attack, announce attacks every turn, preferably find a few attachments, but if you get that jolting charge off, if you get that first turn, which the deck's completely built for, then yeah, it's almost an autopilot deck.
Yeah. Interesting. We're seeing Blaziken's ability attaching a dark energy to Genesect. And then just a pass.
A pass for a turn.
Is that just, arm press for the KO. Very nice, man. Scooping, not scooping prior to, giving Gage, as you said, the satisfaction of taking a hard-earned win there. Shuffling up, going into game 2. What do you want to see Harry doing this game to try and improve his odds a bit?
Well, so there's a few things we noticed. At first, spreading out the energy. You have the luxury of the Blaziken, but spreading out the energy just leaves more energy on board when Gage does find those gust options he's so desperately looking for. And I assume he's going to go for second in this situation. It doesn't do that much to slow Jolting Box down because they'll have a guaranteed Jolting charge anyway on the second turn when they find their supporter as well. But you just have more time to set up yourself, which is very crucial here.
100%. It's not necessarily guaranteed. We could see a Pheasantipity and 6 energy start from Gage.
Of course.
Never say never. It's pretty impressive how consistently Joltik Box is able to get the turn 1 going with the very few kind of like consistency engines there are in the deck.
Yeah, as you said, it's 4 Arven, 4 Crispin, 4 Pokegear, and then the Mew and the Pheasantipity. That's pretty much all you've got.
You've got the Miraidon to get the lightning Pokemon down, but
of
outside
course.
of that, it's a relatively low. I don't want to say low thought because I'm not trying to imply that it takes no effort to pilot the deck. However, it doesn't require the same depth of thinking that a deck like Dragapult does, where you have to be spreading the right amount of damage counters out across each and every turn. It's a very, I would say, similar mindset to ADP decks of old, of
Of course.
boss, hoping that that's the game, one final KO.
And it is part of the game, right? Decks like that have the obvious advantage of being straightforward, being easy to play, but they have the disadvantage usually that they don't have a lot of game plans. You know, it's in the same sentence. You can identify that all it wants to do is go 2-2-2, whereas a deck like Gardevoir or Dragapult has more issues setting up, has less straightforward lines of play, but it can also be more creative usually and find alternative win cons. So, those decks will always exist, as you say. ADPization was one of them. Miraidon in the past was maybe a little bit more intricate than Joltik Box right now is, but Raging Bolt of old, much very similar.
100%. And Miraidon players, I think, being quite thankful. We're seeing a Pheasantipity and is that a
So it's a Toad School on Harry's side. So because it does play the Toad Scroll that prevents you from recovering any cards from your discard pile into your deck using or into your hand, I think, or both.
And yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how valuable Toad Scroll is in this matchup. I'm sure Harry's about to show us why he's put it down. But not a lot of recovery in Joltik Box at times. Another fault of the deck is that once resources have been used, that tends to be it. We do see one Super Rod and
That's about it.
that's it for recovery, which is why you don't tend to see Professor's research in the deck. You don't want to throw away a full set of Pokemon and energy, never to get them out again.
No, indeed. So I do think it's going to be a deck for the Goldingo matchup, potentially. Any deck that plays Night Searcher will be harmed by it, so Gardevoir will not like it either. But as you mentioned, the Joltik box deck is not going to be very fussed about it. We do see Gage starting with Virizion, I want to say, but it's Iron Leaf CX. Usually played as an extra switch out. I think it might pick up some more some popularity in next format, Distance Rivals, because the grass weakness is going to be much more relevant. With Marnie's Grimmsnarl being grass weak and Charizard also making a bit of a resurgence. But right now, all it's doing for Gage is clogging up his bench.
100%. As the players take their kind of opening turns to begin setting up, what are you most excited for about the Distant Rivals format? It's just around the corner.
Ooh, that's a very good question. I haven't actually. I like Ethan's Typhlosion. I don't think it's going to be the best deck in the world,
No.
but I like comeback single price decks. I have seen that Oscar Madsen is cooking up a list with Ho EX as well, so maybe there's a bit more flexibility to his deck list, so I'm very excited to see that. But other than that, I think there's just a lot of good Pokemon that are going to make the coming formats interesting. Team Rocket Spidops, for example. It's very reminiscent of Naganadel or Naganadel, I don't know how you pronounce it in English. So there could be a future for a potential Quagnak deck or Naganadel Blacephalon of old. And then there's other Pokemon that are really cool as well.
100%. The 280 big basic Mewtwo EX, outrageous.
It really is.
Say.
Yeah.
I think it was Bert's TCG, the commentator that does a lot of the European events. He put out a video kind of comparing Mewtwo across the generations, and 280 on a big basic, 2 prizes is crazy. If Dark weren't such an easy to tech for weakness, I would love to see it as a tanking deck. But with Zoroark and also Roaring Moon and Baby Moon in the format,
Very true.
I don't expect to see it for anything other than just pure aggression.
No, I think you are very right with that analysis, Zane. I loved seeing it as well, especially after they revealed the Team Rocket's Wobble Fit with the damage swap ability. That's one of my favorite mechanics of the Pokemon game ever. What is that? What is that Pokemon that we just saw? Well, I think it's a Toadscroll, but we can't put it down yet. But that,
Missing on the energy attach on Harry's side and not getting a Torchic down.
yeah, or another Dreepy. It feels like a very slow start for Harry. Did we even see a supporter for a turn?
We saw the Iona.
Right.
Harry can feel safe knowing that it's very unlikely the Dreepy's being KO'd this turn. Joltik taking its obligatory turn to accelerate energy. So while he doesn't have the full setup you'd like to see turn one, it's not the end of the world right now. From Gage, we're seeing an Arvin. Does he have an energy attached? Or does he have a Joltik down at this point?
Yeah, it's a Joltik with, it looks like one of the older lightning energies.
Yes.
Looks a bit more like almost the base set kind of style, or maybe evolutions had the same art. Not sure. We'll have to ask Gage after. But he's going for a Bravery Charm and a Future Booster and a Nest Ball.
Attaching the Future Booster to the Iron Hands, retreating into the Joltik and using Jolting Charge. Is that a Pikachu down?
It is a Pikachu.
Attaching Metal, and now getting one of the ideal kind of splits here, attaching, one would assume, 3 energy to the Iron Hands, Lightning and Grass, Lightning, Grass maybe, and then attaching 1 more to the Pikachu, which means he is 1 hand attachment away from attacking with either of them next turn, giving him a lot of options depending on what Harry's able to get set up here.
Yeah, that I think you could almost say Gage's setup is better than last game.
Yeah.
In that regard, we just have to wait and see what the exact energy split is. He did put all 4 energy down onto the Iron Hand, so it could be that they're just all going there. Recognizing that he will have time to manually attach to the Pikachu anyway. But we're back on Harry's side. We're starting off his turn with a Buddy Puffin.
Would have been nice to see that the turn prior. I know he's got a Jacques in hand, so being able to get 2 Dracloaks down would have been ideal. But I think we've seen still seeing the Puffin for action.
Indeed.
Harry needs a way to get this Latias out. Sorry, not the Latias, the Pheasantipity EX out of the active. I don't know if I saw anything in hand that could assist him with that.
I don't know if you're actually too unhappy about it being there right now, because Iron Hands doesn't pressure the one-hit KO, and nothing else on Gage's board will hit hard enough currently. So you do have some time here. Or wait a minute, what Toadscroll are we actually seeing here? It's a Journey Together one. Is that the one that gives all of your Pokemon 2 less retreat costs?
I'm going to pull it up now on my personal phone and tell you.
Well, thank you. While you do that, I'll keep following Harry's turn for you guys at home. We're seeing Arvin coming down as a supporter for a turn. So we're circumventing the Jack, as we're not getting too much value out of that currently, with only 1 Dreepy being able to evolve into the Dracloak.
You are spot on. As long as it's on the bench, it is 2 less retreat cost for your active Pokemon.
Nice.
I think that's almost everything in Harry's deck.
Of course. Yeah. That's just showing you how strong the reprint of Air Balloon in the black and white set is going to be.
That it is. Bit disappointed it's coming back.
Are you?
Yeah, with Pokemon not committing to giving anything outside of Blood Moon and what is it called? Mamoswine, more than 2 retreat. It's essentially a free float stone for almost everything in format.
That is very true.
I think knowing what to promote and knowing when to retreat is an art, I think, in the game.
Of course.
And it's, I don't know, it gives more people starting off more kind of like fail safes, lets them make mistakes, which is what you want. You want people to be able to make mistakes, but I think retreating is one that people should learn pretty early on, and Yeah, I can't say I'm massively excited to see it back in format, to be completely frank.
Yeah, that's a very fair point you make. At the same time, they're also revealing a lot of really strong Pokemon with one or two retreats that need to be inactive to activate. Have you seen the Gothitelle?
Uh,
When it's in the active, it allows you to make your opponent shuffle their hands into their deck and draw 3 cards.
I have seen that. You copy that, or you bring that together with the Bonnet that
Yeah, and
your
you've got
opponent discards 3 cards from their hand. That or Zerosix with Bonnet, which we haven't seen much of.
we have not, but I'm sure if anyone's going to make it work, it's going to be Sander
I was just about to say, I'm sure he's licking his lips somewhere,
for
excited
sure.
for all the new control cards. But we are just
Wow.
seeing a retreat into a Budju and a Itchy Pollen.
Yeah,
Everyone's
no,
favourite attack.
indeed. No Draclo coming down, no energy either. So Harry's still struggling a little bit to get going.
I think I did see a rare candy in hand, however. But yeah, with no energy, we're not going to be seeing a Phantom Dive next turn. Crispin coming down, getting the last 2 energy attached to Pikachu, meaning that Gage has a plethora of attackers ready on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much scarier boards right now in the format. I think one that I can think of that was scarier than this in recent history was when your opponent had what was it? Mirage stepped into Lotucurlia.
Oh, Mirage Step, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was when your opponent got that off, like Mirage step into 3 Curlia and then 2 rolls on board. It's just like, oh,
Terrifying.
this is going to get really nasty.
Back with the baby Gardevoir.
Indeed.
Looking forward to future formats as well. We're going to be seeing Megas coming back in a few formats. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the 3 prize mechanic?
I'm not a fan. I'm definitely not a fan. I wish they had made it a stage 4 of sorts. That would have been a much more interesting
Similar
take
to
on it.
the Level X Pokemon of Diamond and Pearl.
Exactly. Yeah, it would have been, and in that regard, they couldn't have been even stronger for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're just power creeping. Our stage 2s into even bigger Pokemon, and okay, they give up one more prize, but in many situations it won't matter that much. But we'll just have to wait and see. We've only seen 2.
That is very true.
So
Very unsalted, undersalted. No flavour, no seasoning on those,
No,
which they
indeed.
tend to do with the first couple. We're seeing a Jacques from Harry grabbing out a Dragapult, and I would assume, is that 2 Dragapults? Alright.
Okay.
We've got a rare candy in hand that I saw from the turn prior.
Nice.
And at 320 HP, even with an attack from Pikachu, that's not getting knocked out this turn. So Harry is able to take the time to try and set up the board further on this turn.
He'll definitely be able to protect his energy when he finds them in this situation. At the same time, I would have liked to see at least an Artisan and maybe a Pheasantipity first before committing to his supporter for a turn. Always allows you to keep open your options before committing to a play. But it's not. It's definitely progressing his board here, and yeah. So
Seen a Recon Directive for 2, going with the Monkey Dory and coming straight down onto the bench. And then we are still yet to see a Flip the Script, which will get him 3 additional cards. Anything helps at this point. Harry just needs to start attaching energy. Without a Torchic on the board and no Crispin in deck, it's going to be a slow couple turns before Harry is able to get anything running. We see, I think, a Power Glass onto Dracloak there,
it is the Power Glass indeed.
meaning that if it ends the turn in the active, Harry is able to attach 1 energy to the Pokemon. Good way to kind of attach in between turns. It's something we tend to see on Zoroark decks, not necessarily Dragapult decks. However, we're getting a bit on in the format. It's always good to experiment, try new things.
Of course, yeah. I think it's very strong in situations where your active Pokemon has to discard energy for its attack. So as we see with the Flame Body Cannon in the Zoroark decks, and as we saw in the past with the Power Glass Moon, Roaring Moon EX that played the Greninja, a Radiant Greninja. that we all know and love so much.
Every,
But
what I would say to the people at home is that a strategy's bad until it works, and then you're smart for finding something out before everyone else. Think of the man we mentioned earlier, Sander, who pulled out Mewtwo v Union, which
oh,
everyone
right.
thought was a joke card, and he won NAIC with, or he came second at NAIC. Was second, wasn't it? He lost to, or was it the top four? He lost
I
to
think
Azul.
top 4, yeah.
But yeah, prior to that, everyone thought the V Union cards were an absolute joke, and he turned it into a force for the time it was left in format.
For sure, he was actually cooking with the supporter card Cook back in the day.
That he was.
Combining it with a really strong recovery attack on Mewtwo v Union that allowed it to heal almost, what was it, 160 or 200 damage off of itself?
Yeah, 200 damage.
yeah.
We've seen an arm, sorry, not an arm press, an Ampy very much from Gage there to take 2 more prizes. So he is down
To his
to his
final
final
2.
2 prizes. And Harry needs to start swinging. He has a Fire Energy in hand, so we can at least see a Jet Headbutt. However, all Gage needs from here on out is one more boss, and that's game.
Yeah.
That could be a boss onto the Pheasantipity to KO with Pikachu. That could be a boss onto the Monkey Dory without a Bravery Charm to take the KO with Ampy very much. And as we've seen throughout the set, Gage has just absolutely raced ahead of Harry. Dragapult's a strong deck when it gets set up, but if you don't let it get set up, it's not a strong deck.
No, indeed. Dragapult list started off playing at least 1 quiz spin. Then I think some people moved to up to 2 to make it easier to find. But nowadays they've just completely ignored the need for that supporter and are trying to set up their board with Ichipollen in the active while getting their manual attachments for turn. But a deck like Joltik Box really likes the sound of that, and as you say, just puts on the pressure and tries to get so far ahead that it's impossible for them to get back into the game. We also see the future booster capsule on Iron Hands, which will allow it to even take a 2-price KO on the Toad Scroll, I believe, which only has 140 HP.
That is correct. Also a 2-prize turn on the Monkey Dory with a Bravery Charm.
Is that? No,
It's 160.
100. No,
Oh, wait, no, yeah.
It's 140. No, don't worry.
Pranked. Disregard me.
If potentially Gage does play the Iron Crown EX, that would push it up to 160.
That it would.
But we're not in the future box era anymore.
No, we are not. Thank God. Not a deck I enjoyed.
Me neither.
We're seeing the Genesect come down, hit the board for Harry here, trying to stop another one of Gage's gusting options in the Prime Catcher if he's able to get a Pokemon tool attached.
Yeah, but there's no supporter in hand, I believe, so there's going to be no disruption. Gage is sitting on a fairly comfortably sized hand, I believe. Has the Mew EX in deck in play as well.
Right, we see a Jet Headbutt from Harry for 70. Gage just needing a boss now. And there we go, we see it. It's a boss coming up for the final 2 prizes with Ampy very much. And Gage races off to a 2-0 lead. Not a 2-0 lead, a 2-0 win.
2-0 win, yeah. Fairly comfortable. Gage just doing what he needs to do every turn. Wasn't challenged too much. The draws were in his favor. The deck just worked very well for him, and he also knows what he's doing. It's not much to do, but everything he did was exactly right.
No, 100%. Similar to Raging Bolt of old, Joltik Box, very linear. But that's not a bad thing. It means that you're thinking and you're adapting. Doesn't need to be as high each game, so you can spend more time thinking on what's in front of you instead of thinking about what needs to be happening.
Yeah, indeed. And Harry, while being put under so much pressure, put up a fair fight.
That he did.
He definitely did. And it was a shame we didn't get to see the full value of all his interesting inclusions.
No, and I think that kind of speaks to why a lot of Dragapult decks are splashing a one-off Blood Moon into the deck. Just being able to essentially attack for free or for 1 attachment
Of course.
is something that Dragapult really values. Blood Moon being able to KO almost anything on, on Gage's board there, or at least being able to set it up to be KO'd with a sprinkle the turn following.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot more to say about this. Really great effort from both players. Cage going up 1-0 in this three-round cup. That must be he must be feeling fairly confident already.
100%. You essentially need to go 3-0. Consider it a top cut of sorts. Unless there's a tie in the final round, the winner should come out at a clean 3-0.
Nice.
So we will see what happens next. I think we might even see one of the seniors coming up next,
Of
if Luke was
course, yeah.
saying.
There's some pretty good seniors in the room, I believe, right?
Yeah, one of the guys here top eighted Seville.
Nice.
I did see the top eight map.
Oh, very cool.
That
Yeah.
could pay my rent for a month.
Is it the Iona one?
It is the Iona one.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good one.
100%. All right. Well, that is us for the first round. We will be back in 15 to 20. That round finished relatively early, so there's a fair bit of time in between rounds.
Doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't, especially with Dragapult.
For sure. We'll catch you guys in a bit while we scout out the rest of the room. So, see you later, guys.
Catch you soon.
What was that in the chat? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Badger Cup for the second quarter of this year. My name's Vinnie, and I'm joined again by Zane.
G'day, everybody.
Yeah.
Coming into round two now, we're going to be broadcasting a seniors round. So we have Kai on Joltic Box again versus Nathan on Raging Bolt. Should be an interesting one.
Okay.
I think one of the possibly few matchups in the format that Joltic Box isn't as happy to see.
No, indeed. Yeah. It also really doesn't like to say okie dokie.
Yeah, no, it does not. Please tell us about Okie Dokie. A
Uh,
friend of yours was on slightly more important stream than ours last week.
He was
playing it.
indeed playing against Joltic Box, my good friend Matthew Hudbut, creator of the Okie dokie deck, made it all the way to top 32 on Utrecht last weekend.
Very impressive.
Yeah, but more on that later. Sadly, I haven't seen any Okidogis today, but I think we're best going into the game already as the players are setting up for round two.
Here we go. So we have Kai on Joltic Box with the Pikachu map. We have Nathan on Raging Bolt. One thing to note is that this is the Owls version of
Very
Raging
nice.
Bolt. So even though Joltic Box isn't as happy to see Raging Bolt, there are still Pokemon that it can snipe. Pikachu also takes a one-hit KO on any Raging Bolt, regardless of whether or not it's got an attachment. And Miraidon can take a 220 KO on Green Ogerpon. So it's not impossible. Just more of an uphill battle than it is with some of these slower evolving decks.
Very true. The Raging Bolt list seems fairly cookie cutter.
Yeah.
We do have the Slitherwing as well, which is going to play a big role in this matchup.
100%.
Very easy response on the Pikachu, also circumventing the ability with its burn.
Slitherwing able to take a one-hit KO on almost everything on Kai's board there. Everything outside of the Mew, Latias, and thing. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong list. Haha. Everything but the Lilies, Clefairy, the Mew, Latias. Okay.
Yeah, very scary Pokemon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Especially on a one prizer.
Of course. We do have one baby Raging Bolt as well, which was showcased very heavily by Christian Labella in Milwaukee, really showing off its power and the lack of bench protection in this current format. But it's not going to play a big role against Jolty Box, I believe.
You'd hope not. You'd hope not. If you're getting to a point where you're trying to take two prize KOs with Baby Bolt, something's gone wrong.
I think so, yeah. And Raging Bolt is the favorite deck in this matchup, so we're going to assume that Kai is going to be the one to try and win in creative ways with his Joltik Box. So we have started off the round. Nathan with Raging Bolt is going first, starting with benching a Teal Mask Ogerpon and a Raging Bolt, and following that up with Van Rotem's Fan Call ability.
Probably an ideal start from Nathan here, to be quite honest. Could probably just go for the two hoot, one Noctowl from this position. With a Raging Bolt and a Teal Mask Ogerpon down, I don't see the need to try and overextend for the Ditto. There doesn't really seem like anything else Nathan might want outside of a possible Latias. But I think that's something that you can grab next turn. I think set up the consistency pieces now. Oh, and he's going for the Ditto anyway. Plays the deck more than me. I hate to admit, I thought Raging Bolt was a bit of a Unga Bunga deck, and then I tried it last week for the first time. No clue what I was doing. Had circles run around me. So I take back everything I said about Raging Bolt players.
It is not anymore, but I think
No.
historically it has been.
Yeah.
I love the Unga Bunga term as well. It's very fitting for the pre-rotation Raging Bolt. But what getting the Ditto out does for you is that it does just cycle a deck for one more card.
It's a very good point. And it gets an energy in the discard, meaning that Sada can do what it needs to next turn. We're seeing the Fezandipity come down early. Sorry, not Fezandipity, the Squawkabilly, which, considering Nathan grabbed a Noctowl, not too sure about that. And
it looks like he's got a second one in hand as well. At the same time, this also forms a 3 prize liability for Nathan, so an interesting choice. But Nathan's committed to the line, and we'll just have to.
That it does. Just trying to fix something out right here. Which one was the name? The player on the left?
Name left right there.
Name left, of course.
Sorry, did I miss? Did I?
There's no H. It's Nathan.
Oh, of course. Yeah, there we go.
go.
Thank you for that. Sorry for that, Nathan.
Good. There we go. We are seeing an earthen vessel getting rid of a fighting energy. So Nathan getting both in the discard for next turn. Sada giving him the option to accelerate whatever energy he'll end up needing.
Seems to be grabbing a grass and a fighting energy off of that.
So we're likely to see a tail dance plus turn. We've already seen a turn attach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can't quite put my finger on what the fez is for in this instance. Tail dance for 1, which is a Crispin. Nest ball for the new. It's looking the Gladius for the free retreat next turn.
Yeah.
And then we may see a Squawk and Seas.
I think we've already seen him. Or haven't we?
Oh, we might.
Well, we've already.
He's already retreated the turn.
Yep.
And then.
Yeah, the 2 Noctiles are gone, so I think they are in the discard pile.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, look at me go. We see just a pass there. So draw for turn into Kai. I see the energy in hand and the nest ball. There we go. And that's, incredibly enough, the entire board set up right there. He will likely get, you would think, the Miraidon. Miraidon then gets the Iron Hands and the Pikachu EX using, what's Miraidon's ability?
Tandem unit.
Tandem unit, that's it. And then without a supporter, with a single card, Kai has set up his board. Really showing how even without the consistency cards, Miraidon can still get the job done.
Of course, yeah. This version of Miraidon, if we can call it Miraidon still, is really built around supporters instead of the items that, such as Electric Generator, as old school Miraidon would go for. And that is because of the other really annoying baby Pokemon in the current format, Budyu, that we all know and love.
I don't know about the love, but we definitely all know it. I think if you've been playing Pokemon at the moment, you have been itchy pollened more times than you would have liked.
For sure. I played a couple of rounds of Pokemon yesterday, playing Dragapult Dusknoir, and I think it was my most announced attack.
Yeah. It's insane how much the card does for so little. No attachment, free retreat. Yes, it's got 30 HP, but it doesn't really matter most of the time. And we see the Jolting Charge from Kai. 2 grass, 2 lightning. We'll see where he decides to split this up.
Yeah, Joltik also putting in solid effort for the best Pokemon of the best baby Pokemon of the format battle with this incredibly strong energy acceleration attack. I don't think we've ever seen an attack such as strong as this one.
I would argue that on a Pokemon of that size, I would argue that ADP's old attack, or the old ADP where it would accelerate 3 energy as well as doing 150, 180 if you use Altered Creations. I would argue that that would probably be the best energy acceleration attack in the game we've ever seen. Just for the spread of damage, prize taking, as well as acceleration, you know?
Of course. Yeah, I think Arceus V-Star's Trinity Nova would come in, would be on a very similar level in that situation then.
To an extent, I think the fact that it couldn't accelerate to non-V Pokemon was a really fair rule that they gave it.
Yeah.
I think ADP's being able to accelerate to anything was incredibly outrageous.
Very true, and I think 200 damage was less relevant than 180 was in its current format.
100%. We've seen a Sada from Nathan getting both energy types onto the Raging Bolt, but I don't know if we see a way to gust around the Joltik. Discarding that Noctowl has really come back to bite him.
Yeah, Rokar makes a good point for Pika Roman's attack, which was also very strong. I believe it was also not limited to Pokemon GX.
Yeah. I think this just goes to show that the tag team was ridiculous in terms of power
They,
creep.
they really, really were.
All right. We are seeing just a single prize taken. Bellowing Thunder getting rid of... Is that the name of the attack?
I think it's Bellowing Thunder.
Yeah, because Burst Roar is the discard. We're seeing Bellowing Thunder for 1, taking out the baby 30 HP Joltik there. But Kai, straight up with the Pikachu. If he has a Crispin in hand, that Raging Bolt is going down. Nathan being smart and discarding the energy from the Raging Bolt, meaning that it's not a big task to take a second knockout if this one goes down.
No, indeed. We saw Kai on his deck search with a tandem unit, grab the Pikachu, but also already eyeing up the grass in the middle in deck. The lightning in the middle that he's missing, I believe.
Yeah, that does look like it. And there we go. We see the Crispin. Kai smartly doing Crispin before using Serendipity, sequencing everything correctly, making sure that he doesn't draw into the energy that he wants to accelerate with Crispin.
Very true.
Kai with a really good board state at the moment. Unfortunately, no energy on a second Pikachu, so could potentially be slowed down in a couple of turns.
I was going to make the argument for Phesandipitying first, because there's only a couple of metal in the list, so being punished by that could outweigh the missed attachment that you see now on the other Pikachu.
It's a very good point. We will just update the prizes. Thank you,
Yeah.
my brain, for mentioning that to me. You see 2 from Kai, taking the 1-hit KO on Raging Bolt there. Pikachu's, I think, Topaz Bolt attack.
It is indeed.
Doing 300 damage with the cost of having to discard all energy attached.
No, it's only 3.
Only 3, okay.
Yeah, there are
Disregard.
situations where you can overload the Pikachu, so you only need 1 more attachment per turn. I think that was a very popular strategy for Lost Box pre-rotation against Goldengo, because they couldn't really punish you for that.
Very good point. And that's why we're seeing the Vengeful Punch
Yep.
in Goldengo list at the moment. We see Raging Bolt hit the board. The Area 0 under depths coming down, letting Nathan spread his board out to 8. Also giving Kai the same opportunity with 2 Terra Pokemon down to 2 Pikachu EX. Nathan playing down the Pheasantipity, looking to draw 3 cards of his own. Really looking for a Noctowl or a Professor Sardas at this point. We see the Fizz, and I can't see an energy acceleration in hand.
No, we still have Teal Dance available to us. If we can manage to find a Night Searcher or Noctowl, we should be off.
I think he's already Teal Danced per turn.
Oh,
he had
have we?
2 energy attached prior.
That is quite unfortunate then. I do believe so we have 6, 7. Was wondering if the Teal Dance would be taking the knockout on the Iron Hands right now, but I think we would need, with an energy attachment for turn, we would have gotten there. But then we also see the Crispin coming down as a supporter for turn for Nathan, so we're not likely to be bossing up the Iron Hands for turn.
No, and Nathan can kind of breathe here. There's nothing on Kai's board right now that could take a 1-hit KO. Clefairy with a Crispin could possibly do it. Does Kai play the Clefairy? No, he doesn't. So I don't. Oh wait, yes he does. I lie. I have lied twice. So we will see if Kai is able to take a KO here. But Nathan feeling relatively safe.
Yeah, so we're only going to do 120 damage on this Pikachu. 140, pardon. It is 70 times, not 60 times.
And that is it.
So that does bring it in range for potentially cleaning it up with a Fenrotom later down the road.
Also smart to not kind of get rid of the energies off his board anyway. Nathan's going to need to follow up that KO on a Pikachu, like you said, likely with a Rotom. So why get rid of an additional energy when you can keep that on the board to continue stringing your attackers?
Yeah. He's also showing off a little bit by keeping the energy on the Raging Bolt, keeping it ready for an attack, and not respecting the return KO from Kai in this situation because he didn't manage to find that energy for turn on the Pikachu. So it's going to be really hard, almost impossible, I believe, to actually find enough energy to KO it.
We do see Kai hit the Arvin from the Poke Gear, letting him get the Prime Catcher. So you'd have to think that he will be Prime Catching into that Hoot Hoot to take 2 more prizes with Ampy Very Much and stopping Nathan from getting whatever trainer cards he wants next turn. However, if Nathan's able to take a KO on the Iron Hands, Kai will have he'll have no energy on the board. The Bravery Charm, not really doing too much here. As someone that doesn't like times tables, I'm still able to get 4 times 7 coming out to 280 or 28.
Yeah, it does work. It doesn't actually do anything apart from maybe thinning out your hand and your deck a little bit in case of an Iono. But we do also see the XP share on the Pikachu, which will allow Kai to follow up with just a Crispin if he manages to find it next turn.
Very good point. And we have seen the Ampy Very Much for 2 prizes.
Yeah, this Iron Hands will have to be dealt with first before we can actually take the KO on the Pikachu with the Fan Rotom, because anything that, leaving a single prize there in the active with the Iron Hands on board is just a losing play. But we're back onto Nathan's side here.
Nathan, he's got to be searching for something that can power up the... Oh, very smart. Power up the Raging Bolt. We are seeing the Blood Moon Ursaluna come down. The Stadium Jamming Tower, dropping each player's bench down to just the 5 standard, and smartly getting rid of all the single prizes that could be KO'd from a Ampy Very Much. We'll see where he wants to go from here. I have to ask Vinnie, in terms of times tables, with so many different decks based on times tables in the format, what are your favourite times tables? We've got the 2 times tables with Screamtail, we've got the 3 times tables with Drifloon, 5 on Goldengo, and 7 on Raging Bolt.
I think 7 is the most interesting one. You've got 49, 63, so they're a little bit out there, those numbers. You could say the same thing about 3, I guess, in that case.
That's fair.
As a person that doesn't really enjoy Raging Bolt, I do prefer the times table for 7. What about you, Zane?
I'm going to go left field and say I enjoy my 6 times tables. Back when I was, I think, about 10, my class had a times tables competition, and I was the best at the 6 times tables.
Oh, nice.
So, giving myself some props there, but I think the 6 times tables are pretty cool.
6 is very cool, yeah. 6 is almost a classic, I would say.
If anyone from the Pokemon Company is listening, please start giving us some 6 times tables attacking Pokemon.
Yeah, what was the last one? I do feel like there was one. But in the meantime, we see Nathan taking the KO with a big, of course, it's Chen Pao.
There we go.
But we see Nathan take the KO with his Blood Moon Ursaluna. A Pokemon that is just as hard to KO as the Raging Bolt, so it will require Kai to find Pikachu of himself. Interestingly, I think it does play around Kai's Blood Moon, if it does play one, because the Blood Moon with the Crispin.
That's a very good point. The one thing I will say is we aren't seeing any switches outside of the Prime Catcher in Nathan's list. So if Nathan wants to take a follow-up KO this turn, he's going to need to see and then we just see the boss onto the Tilmask Ogapon.
Hold on.
We need second energy.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
No, we need a second energy on Kai's Blood Moon to take a KO here. Rescue Stretcher or...
Night Stretcher?
Yes, that's what I meant. Don't have Rescue Stretcher in format. We are just seeing the pass to Nathan. Nathan's still needing to take 3 prizes here. So Kai's not gone, but giving Nathan free access to the Blood Moon Ursaluna is tough. Also resetting Nathan's own Blood Moon Ursaluna, meaning that if he's able to get a boss, he could take another 2 prizes here with his own Blood Moon, leaving Kai just short.
Yeah, indeed. I feel like Kai must have miscounted Nathan's prizes a little bit, going for display. Usually in this matchup, your opponent is on the same 2-2 prize map, and then locking in this boss with the Blood Moon would have secured him the first game, but crucially, he's lacking that one energy. And as you say, this opens up Blood Moon again for Nathan, who will be looking to probably attack with Raging Bolt in this situation. Are there any energies on the Pikachu's?
We are seeing an acceleration to Baby Bolt. I hope Nathan remembers that you can't hit the Pikachu on the bench due to it being a Terra Pokemon. But we'll see where Nathan wants to go from here. Swinging with Raging Bolt EX is necessary. It's a bit scary because if Kai's able to recycle the Blood Moon, that's the KO there. But we're only seeing one Night Stretcher in the list, meaning that one Night Stretcher and yeah, that's it. Kai would need one very specific card left.
I think the play you actually want to go for here is to play around the XP share on the Pikachu. You don't want to take a knockout on the Blood Moon, so if you do go for the Raging Ball play, but crucially with a Gust, taking out the Pikachu, you leave. You force Guy to have another boss to win the game.
Yeah.
So, oh no, we can't actually do that.
Let me just go.
I think the players are realizing.
Yeah.
I think the judge was luckily. Thank you.
Great work, Luke.
Wait.
Oh.
Hold on.
What has happened?
We're just checking with the judge real quickly.
That's a Terra Pokemon. Thank you to our amazing judge Luke explaining that to us. We are dinguses.
So for the people back home, I think the situation was caught by the players, and in that situation, Nathan decided to scoop it up after making that mistake. So Kai is going up one game in this set.
Alrighty.
We've all made similar mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, it
happens to the best of us. The additional pair of eyes, it's just what we're here for.
Of course, yeah. Ideally, we would be in communication with the table judge, but that will require us to get some more following first and get some more money to put into the game.
That would be the dream. But
of
we'll
course.
see what happens. As Nathan, I think we're just discussing now. We'll say, as Nathan going into the second game, having lost the first one, what would you like to see? What changes does he need to make? Does he want to go first or second? What do you think, Vinnie?
I think you're going second because your opponent wants to go second so badly with the Jolting Box. And there's not a lot of things I would do differently. Crucially, what Nathan whiffed was the Slitherwing to respond onto the Pikachu. Setting him back a turn, forcing him to go for a play like this, and eventually losing him the game. So
just to answer that question in chat there, it's looking like Kai won. Our head judge Luke explained to us that the players did catch that the snipe from Baby Bolt wouldn't work, and I think Kai had game next turn. Players came to an agreement that instead of trying to resolve the board state, that Kai would have one next turn anyway, and they moved on to the next game.
Indeed. Mistakes happen in the Pokemon game. There was never
any malicious intent behind it.
No, indeed.
Seeing Kai go first, so Nathan taking that advice. Maybe he overheard you. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Kai quickly prize checking. You would assume the nest ball gets him the Rhydon, then in turn gets him Joltik and Iron Hands, or Pikachu and Joltik. Iron Hands not as important in this matchup. One positive about having to go first as Joltik, however, in this situation, is that he has 2 turns of getting Pokemon out into the board. So he can really think about whether or not he wants that Iron Hands down for an additional turn. It's the energy attach, the bravery charm to the Joltik, crucially bringing it up to 80 HP. And as we all have our times tables, 8 is one more than 7,
Yeah.
meaning we would need to see 2 energy for a Joltik KO.
Indeed, so it's not going to be hit by the attack by Fenrotum that escapes me now, which is what we're trying to avoid. And also, I suppose, forcing Raging Bolt to have one more energy for the knockout.
We see these. Oh, not the prime catcher. That one hurts. That one hurts a lot. We see.
Squawk and straight away into at least an Iono, I believe. Is that an XP share as well?
Oh, that's a really tough one. You never want to see your prime catcher in the opening hands like that. You want to see it at a pivotal moment in the game. And to get rid of it that early, to not see a Crispin or a Professor Sada's what's the full vitality is tough, very tough.
Yeah, for sure. An interesting thing here as well is that the Bravery Charm is protecting the Joltik from the Thunderbolt Storm attack from this Raging Bolt in the active. Could have been a cheeky little first prize for Nathan. But yeah, no energy acceleration in the hand, as you mentioned. Nothing really that we want to see.
We could see, as we've seen Ultra Ball getting rid of Noctowl and Tealmask Ogopon, you would think this would be the Fan Rotom. We see it there. Fan Rotom, in this instance, I think would be 2 Hoot Hoot and a Noctowl. Nathan was unwilling to burn the Prime Catcher to get something else in the active. I think he wants to keep that Raging Bolt in the active, so the likelihood of seeing Ditto this turn, I think, is a bit lower.
I would agree.
And then we see the 2 Noctowl, 1 Hoot Hoot, meaning that next turn, even if Kai is able to take a KO on one of the Hoot Hoot, he'll have a second one ready.
Yep. With the commitment to this Fan Rotom, with already another Hoot Noctowl in hand, I believe the Iono 4 turn will not be played. And
there we go. We see the pass back into Kai's turn. You have to feel happy as Kai. Nathan hasn't been able to set up the board like he'd like. Kai with a Poké Gear, hopefully getting him in Arven, one would think. Arven gets Nest Ball, which gets Latias. We see a Crispin. Crispin's still allowing a retreat here, as you can Crispin attach to the Bezendipity and then retreat into the Joltik. Possibly Miraidon for a second Pikachu here, as that's what Kai used last game to set up two Pikachu, and I think that's a Lightning and a Grass.
yes, indeed.
Spotted.
I'm not sure if you actually want to grab an Iron Hands in this situation for an easy 2-price return onto the Slitherwing.
Yeah.
But it does require 4 energy, which is a very hefty energy cost.
I think, one Jolting Charge here would essentially power up 2 Pikachu EX, getting Lightning and Grass on both of them. We've seen the Iron Hands come down. But yeah, I would like to see if I were Kai in this situation. 3 energy hitting the Iron Hands, 1 hitting the Pikachu. That way you're 1 turn attachment from attacking with either next turn.
Yes, indeed. It's very, very sad to have seen the Prime Catcher go so early, because I think Nathan ideally would be looking for a knockout on this Iron Hands with a Raging Bolt to set himself up for the 2-2-2 race and be the first one taking any prizes. But
it's a very tough position. Seeing Prime Catcher that early. Kai deciding where the energy wants to go, looking like 2 to the Iron Hands, 1 to the Pikachu, setting himself up. We see the Noctowl coming down, getting any 2 supporters, trainers for Nathan there. That could be a supporter, tool, stadium, item, whatever you want. There's a plethora of trainers in format at the moment, and a lot of good ones at that.
For sure, Noctowl, a bit reminiscent of Intellion's shady dealings from 2 formats ago almost.
God, that was insane in terms of consistency. There's a reason why almost every deck in the format was playing it. Every deck that wasn't Mew VMAX.
Pretty much. or Arceus, but there was a variation of
Yeah,
it, right?
RCS Inteleon with Sharon's Care. Probably the most boring deck to play, in my opinion, in a long while. But then it also gave decks like Robin Schultz's Rapid Strike Urshifu deck that won Liverpool in 2022, with I think
Did.
something crazy like 20 one-offs in the deck. I pulled that number out of thin air, but it was a high number of one-offs because the deck allowed you to get any Pokemon out, or sorry, any trainer card out at any time.
Yeah, and it's a similar thing we see right now with the decks like Terrabox and the Terrapagos Buffalo, right? Having such strong tutor effects like the Jewel Seeking or the Shady Dealings opens up a lot of creativity and, well, greed in deck lists. We saw the Jewel Seeker for Nathan in this situation grab. I believe it was the
Crispin and Nestball.
Crispin and Nisball, along with the Area Zero, opening up a lot of bench space here.
We are seeing the Crispin attached to the active Baby Bolt. Teal Dance for 1 into the Fighting Energy. Exactly
Wow.
what Nathan wants there. The question is, where does he start putting this damage? He can't put it on the Pikachu, unfortunately, as both players learned last game. I suppose 60 damage on the Iron Hands doesn't really do too much for him either, to be completely honest. It does bring it down to 170. That's still 3 energy. And if he were to attach a Bravery Charm, that would have only brought him down to 220, which is still 4 energy.
Yeah, I think I would have loved to see it go down on the Joltik anyway, because we do play the one copy of Jamming Tower, which would have been a cheeky prize at some point later in the game. But the Thunderbolt Storm is hitting this Iron Hands for 60 damage, as you say, and we're back on Kai's side.
Yeah. Kai, no Latias down, but I think I saw it in hand last turn. Unless that was No, we didn't see the Iono, so I think the Latias is in hand. Kai can also retreat with the single retreat cost on Joltik anyway. We see the boss, so if I were Kai, I would be bossing up the Hoot Hoot on the bench and making the most of actually being able to take a KO with the Iron Hands here, as well as disrupting Nathan from being able to get trainers that he wants next turn. That's what we're seeing from Kai here. Retreat, Iron Hands, amp you very much, 2 prizes.
Interestingly, not choosing to take 3 on Squawkabilly. Why do you think that is, Zane?
I think, while yes, it is an additional prize, it doesn't really do much. Kai still needs to take 3 KOs, and being this far ahead, he can use next turn to set up a Pikachu, or possibly a Miraidon. Taking the additional prize doesn't really do too much for him, and it ensures that he'll never be able to equalise the prizes. This means that he could essentially turn off Counter Catcher, or any other comeback cards that Nathan might have. The additional prize doesn't do as much as you'd think it might.
Very fair analysis. I think the only weakness to this strategy would be that now Slitherwing is still a very strong option for Nathan, forcing Kai to have a boss, whereas if you do take the 3, Slitherwing taking only 1 would not be as big of a deal for Kai.
That's a very good point, but I think the added benefit of removing another Noctowl from play this turn really outshines anything that could have come from that. We see that Nathan has not a lot in hand. A Noctowl there would have got him whatever he needed to get going, whereas now he's just having to attack with the Baby Bolt again. If Kai has another boss or Prime Catcher in hand, he could take up that Rotom, 2 more prizes.
Yeah, it's almost as if Kai had a very good hand read in this situation. We did know of a few Noctowls in hand from the Fan Rotom, and really punishing Nathan for his bench commitments and having only 1 Hootu down. So the Thunderbolt Storm is hitting the Pheasantipity in this case for another 60 damage. Not ideal, and we're back on to Kai's side, who seemingly lacks the Gust option for turn.
So this is where having a 3 prize KO would have been beneficial. Arm Press does KO Baby Bolt, putting Kai down to 3 prizes now. I still think he made the right decision taking out that hoot, really hindering Nathan's ability to do anything. Essentially, that top deck into the Raging Bolt doesn't do much better. It doesn't help him out much. He does still have the Iono in hand, which I think you've got to play it at this point. I know you want to be accelerating energy, but this at least slows Kai down. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. You won't be taking a knockout either, so Pheasantipity won't be online. MioEX hasn't been found yet, and if you... Yeah, there's not really anything you can leave in the active at this point that is not going to go down to the Pikachu, sadly. But there's not a lot of other things you can do.
He could possibly Blood Moon, and do we have a Bravery Charm? No, we don't. I lie. Yeah, no, there's nothing in the form or in Nathan's deck list that will survive a Pikachu KO. We see the Iono slapped down. Fresh 6 for Nathan, Kai down to 3. Even if he could get the Mew down, it wouldn't do him any favours.
No, indeed. There's no Latias on Kai's side yet, so having to retreat 4 energy of this Iron Hand to take it to a prize KO might be too much for him to want to commit to the 2 prizes, but at the same time, going down to 1 prize in that situation might be good enough.
Yeah, I think in this instance, Nathan wants to leave a 2 prizer in the active. Make Kai really have to work for those 2 prizes. If Kai did have to hard retreat into Pikachu, yes, it would take him 1 prize away, but that would be all of his energy on the board.
Indeed.
So Nathan trying to slow the game down, giving him an avenue to come back. Kai hoping he had a boss in hand. Not a lot it's looking like. I think I see a Blood Moon, an XP share, and a Grass Energy.
Okay. Yeah, that's not good. It's not getting you anywhere.
No.
I think we would... Well, it helps you set up the Iron Hands again, or potentially attach to the Joltik, set the XP share onto a Miraidon or something, and then have a few other attacking options for the following turn.
We see the retreat into the Van Rotom, which gives Kai the Ampy very much for 2 additional prizes here. Bit of a tough one. XP share onto the Miraidon, and then top deck into the Pokegear. If he can get... I don't know what Kai would want to see here. Possibly an Arven.
I don't know. I think if you find the boss, you just keep it.
Yeah,
because,
bank it for next turn. Here we
exactly.
go.
We only usually see 1 copy of Iono in aggressive decks like this, so you can just challenge your opponent to... well, you can just put everything on the table, you know, and suspect your opponent to not be disrupting you again.
100%. Kai, also a very big Raging Bolt enthusiast himself. Kai, I think, locked in for Worlds this year for the seniors, and I know a lot of those points have come from Raging Bolt. So probably knows the list pretty well at this point himself. Nathan staring down an absolute mountain. Yeah, it's tough.
I don't see many outs in this situation, sadly. As we discussed earlier, decks like this aren't really built for making a comeback like Dragapult or Gardevoir. We've already committed our 1 disruption card off our deck, and there's not really a way for us to take any cheeky multiple prize turns. So.
No. Even if Briar were in the deck, Kai's down to 1 prize card, switching that ability off. So it's looking like we will see a Blood Moon from Nathan, and then Kai can just swing back with his Pikachu EX for the game.
Yeah, so very respectful choice from Nathan here to attack, but we see Kai immediately promoting his Pikachu and then clearing the Topaz Bolt attack on that beautiful card for the game. Very.
And then there's Slitherwing and Boss from Nathan in the prizes. Explains a lot. Very painful. But a good 2 games there. Joltik Box having a great day on stream today, Vinnie.
For sure, yeah. 2 rounds cast and 2 rounds being won by Joltik Box. Coincidentally, also the player on the right every time.
There we go. It'll be interesting if Gage is in that top match for the finals. We'll have to put him on the other side, see
Yeah, see if it's a side that's really tipping the game into their favor every time.
Yeah, 100%. What are you hoping to see in the finals?
Oh, I'd love
Of
to see
what was,
something else.
yeah, yeah, that's a very good point. Before we made the decision to chuck Kai on the stream, I should have double checked what he was playing.
True.
But
Yeah.
showing why he is and should be on stream, and why
Of
he's
course.
been able to lock in his world's invite.
Yeah.
I think he's enough points clear that he doesn't need to go to Bologna.
Or an AIC either.
No, no.
Very nice. Congratulations, Guy. A solid effort this season.
Yeah, I think his best finish a top 32 at a regional earlier in the year, which incredibly well done for a senior.
Of course.
His dad Clint is here today as well. Real special moment for them earlier in the season, both winning a cup at the same event. Kai taking out the seniors and Clint taking out the masters, which great photo from both of them, both posing with the Iono mat, no, the N mat.
Beautiful moments. Yeah.
Must run in the family.
And they're both Raging Ball players?
Clint's committed to it. He's a Raging Bolt man. Kai's branching out. He's trying some fun new things,
It's impressive. Yeah, there must be a lot of Raging Bolt mirrors back home then.
Yeah, well, I think having spoken to both of them, they do like to test. Having high-level players on both sides means that they can get a lot more testing in than your average person.
Of course.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of potentially all of the brothers in the game that are doing so well. But interesting fact on that, I actually have spoken to the Kamermans, and apparently they don't test very often together.
Really?
Yeah, they're really good, but they don't really play against each other.
Well, good on them.
Yeah,
I would be milking that if I had a brother that good.
For sure. I think they still have very good testing groups individually.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I think one of them at least is very close to the Danish community.
Okay.
So we know all too well that there's very good players over there.
Yeah, of all the pastry communities, Danish would be my favorite.
You should go to France and Belgium though. We've got very good pastries.
All right. Well,
anyway,
that is us for round 2. We will be back. Like we said at the start, this is a small cup, 7 masters, 7 seniors. So the final round will be essentially the finals. We will be back in 15 to 20 with the masters finals. We'll see you all then.
Yeah, see you all then. Thanks for tuning in, guys. One.
Alrighty. Oh, g'day everybody. We are back. We are here for our final round. We have a clean 2-0 versus 2-0 on both the seniors and the masters.
Yeah.
This round we actually have Kai, who was on stream. We have his dad, Clint, coming in
Indeed.
at 2-0. Both him and Kai looking to run back the father-son cup win.
Ooh, potentially.
We have him playing Gage on the Joltic box. So we have unintentionally had Joltic box on stream 3 times today.
Very riveting gameplay for you guys. And an interesting challenge for us to cast that kind of matchup 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I think it does just show how strong. Oh, there we go. We got Clint on the wrong stream at the moment. It shows how strong Joltic box is in the format. You know, I think with a lot of the format right now being slow evolving decks, whether that is Gardevoir, Dragapult, Zoroark to an extent, you know,
Of course.
Joltic box can really make the most of that.
Yeah. I think Iron Hands has just been a menace in the format ever since it was released.
I think it. I definitely think it has. I think of all the additional prize. I think of all the additional prize mechanics we have in the format right now, it's probably the most fair though. It's
Okay.
It's a really tough time to try and get 4 energy on an Iron Hands. Compared to a lot of what we've had in the past, whether that's ADP or I'm trying to think what other additional prize taking mechanics have we had.
What was it? Of course.
It's it's an interesting one.
So I suppose the only ones that we have had are Briar, ADP, Iron Hands. What else has there been? I feel like I'm missing one. But sorry, Zane is just helping an interested local find our stream to follow along. But yeah, it's a good point. Iron Hands has become a little bit more difficult to charge up, especially since DTE rotated. Iron Hands has been more difficult.
100%. Briar is also quite good, but it does give the opponent a chance to play around it. You know,
Very true.
Also quite fair. However, to just have a free additional prize, I think, can be a little bit much. But we are moving on to setup phase.
Let's go look at the players, shall we?
Good idea.
I think both of them have sat down. Both of them are also very respectable players in the community.
Yeah. So we're going to have Gage on the Joltic box as we saw before, and Clint on the Raging Bolt, matching the map. Now, not to call Clint out on this, that's Kai's map. Kai won that at a challenge. So a little bit of stolen valor. Won't hold him to it.
I suppose as a dad traveling everywhere with your son to make him to allow him to play the hobby that he loves so much, you have some claim to it.
Exactly.
And he's won cups of himself, so it's not unfair for him to use a champion mat.
100%. Just joshing him a little bit. You know, I'll be impartial in this match. Dry snitching, yeah, mildly. I mean, but you know. We'll move on. Happy birthday for the other day, by the way. I assume that's you. I don't know if we've seen the dice roll for turn yet, but we have seen everyone cutting.
Yep. On the right side, we also see Gage sporting his Leyton Orient jersey. They're crucially playing a very important playoff match tomorrow. I don't know if you follow League One football here in the UK.
No, I do not.
But Leyton Orient is playing playoff finals for League One against Charlton, who is also a very popular team in London and in the Pokemon community. Crucially, Steve Mills, who we all know and love, is a very big Charlton fan. So they'll be facing off tomorrow, as they've probably also faced quite often times in Pokemon.
There we go. And only knows Aussie rules. Mate, you're lucky that this is a family-friendly stream. Otherwise, I would be having words for you.
Yeah, Zane is not Aussie.
No.
That's
he knows that, which is what is riling me up. We are starting. It's looking like Clint probably won the coin flip, and he is making Gage go first here. Um, it's a bit too early in the game for Clint to be scooping. I will say, on his list though, Clint, I will double check here, is famously a non-owls playing Raging Bolts. He is
Yeah.
playing similar to what was described as earlier the Unga Bunga Raging Bolt list, the very straightforward one.
So sticking with his guns on that one, rotation didn't phase him. He just decided to find alternatives for the Radiant Greninja rotating. And I believe I sat next to him at League yesterday, and he does play a very interesting card for that, and it's the Cycling Road from the Mew expansion from
That he does.
151.
He absolutely got me one league night. I was playing Frostlass Monkey Dory, and he pitched away both Switch and Prime Catcher in his opening turn. And I thought, wow, perfect time for Maractus. Brought up the Pheasantipity, Maractus counter or corner, and then he plays a third Switch. And I was fuming.
Wow, okay, that's a very high count. Probably capitalizing on the lack of deck knowledge from his opponent.
100%. So we are seeing just the nest ball for, I assume, Miraidon. The glare is glaring.
It definitely is. Gage playing the really shiny cards with the glary sleeves as well.
I think that's Pikachu and Miraidon down, if I had to guess.
Yep.
And then, attach, Joltik, pass, going into Clint's turn. Clint starting with the Teal Mask Ogerpon. Still safe for another turn. Gage needs to power up next turn. So we'll see how Clint wants to go here. If he were able to take a first turn KO on the Joltik, I'd be pretty pleased with that, to be honest. Because Gage still needs to put forwards another Joltik the turn after to power up whatever he wants to power up. And if Clint could take 2 single prize KOs on a Joltik, he's caught up, taking 2 prizes and sticks to that 2-2-2 line.
Very true. On the other hand, that might be one of the situations where he wished he was playing the Fan Roads online, because it's not going to be easy for him to take a knockout on the Joltik.
You are right. However, we have seen Pokecatcher into the Pikachu. If Clint can get the Slitherwing going this turn, it could be... And there we see it. Crispin into Grass Energy and I would assume Fighting Energy. If Clint can take a first turn KO this turn, he'll be in a really good position.
He definitely would be. Wow. What can we do here? So let's first follow along with Clint to see if he can piece together the attack.
Oh, he's got it! He's got it! Teal Dance gets him the attachment to the green Ogerpon. He Crispin the Fighting Energy to the Slitherwing. And then, oh my goodness. And then he is squawking and seizing. Fresh 6. Clint, commanding position right now.
Yeah. He was dealt a very good set of cards, and I identified correctly what line would put him most ahead in this matchup here, and that is using that very strong attack from the Slitherwing that, as most of you will know, but I will refresh your memory on it, will allow him to circumvent Pikachu's Resolute Heart ability by using that very nifty burn effect on Slitherwing's attack.
So the way that it would work for people that are interested is that Slitherwing's second attack does 240 damage and it burns the Pokemon afterwards. Pikachu's Resolute Heart ability, because it does 120, it hits for weakness. Resolute Heart then activates, making the Pikachu stay at 190. Burn then takes effect, doing the last 10 damage to KO the Pikachu, circumventing, as you said, the Resolute Heart ability. It does do 90 damage to the Slitherwing. That doesn't bother Clint. If Clint can take another two prize KO next turn, he is commanding. Because most of Gage's deck and most of the Pokemon that he wants to be attacking with are fighting weak.
Very true. At the same time, Clint was quite lucky to also be able to follow this play up with the Squawk and Seize, because he was able to flesh out his board a little bit more, because it was looking quite dire if it was only an Ogerpon and the Slitherwing.
That it was. Clint with How many copies of boss here?
So we see one boss.
One boss. So you would think he might be taking, or one boss, one prime catcher.
And a couple of flip catchers, but how many?
Oh yeah, poke catchers. We are seeing
Three. So
three
we've
poke
seen
catchers.
one.
Okay, so Clint, you would think pushing for another gusting option next turn. Gage getting an Arvin, which gets him Nest Ball and Rescue Ball. Nest Ball gets a Pokemon that's too shiny to see. I think it's Serendipity.
Yeah, that is the full art Serendipity with a pink background, I believe. We're also getting an Iron Hands out with the Future Booster capsule. And I think there's a line for Gage here. Clint could take the knockout on the Joltik here, but that would crucially also knock himself out, giving Gage one prize. And that allows Gage to win in 2 attacks, whereas Clint would also still need to attack twice.
Yeah, a very good point. So to run that through, Gage would then need to amp you very much on the Squawkabilly and take a final 2 prizes with the Miraidon. Gage showing his mastery of the deck and the understanding of what it takes to close this out.
Yeah, as you see the lightning energy coming down on the Miraidon and 3 energy going down on the other 3 energy going down onto the Iron Hands, putting it one attachment away from the Ampere very much on that Squawkabilly. So we're going to go back to Clint's side, and we'll have to see if he identifies that, or if he decides to take down the Joltik with the Slithering anyway.
Let's see how he wants to play this out. Clint, I think I saw an Earthen Vessel in hand there, possibly. Yeah, Earthen Vessel getting rid of the Lightning Energy there. Probably going for 2 grass to continue cycling through the deck, seeing more. If he's lucky, he might hit a Cycle Road.
To cycle even more.
Oh my god, we're so funny.
We really are. Slithering is quite a big bug. I think it has 3 retreats, so it's probably going to look for the Latias as his final bench Pokemon.
Quite possibly. Looking at Clint's list, I'm seeing if we're seeing a Bravery Charm. I don't think we are.
We're not even seeing a Latias, so I think the Slithering's pretty much stuck in the active.
And it is.
Oh no, of course he plays a couple of switches that you were so caught off by, but it's only 2 this time. It's only 2 today.
Alright, we see the second Raging Bolt. Professor Sardas attaching the... if he comes into Prime Catcher or Poke Gear, or Poke Catcher from here. We're not... Oh my goodness, does it? Oh, and he's hit it onto the Iron Hands. Clint, he's got luck on his side today. This is outrageous. I think
Incredible
he's in a pretty
dice
commanding
roll.
position. To quote old mate from the chat, I think Gage wants to scoop now, to be honest.
I think it's looking quite dire for Gage indeed, but we've got 40 minutes left. These are 2 very aggressive decks, so Gage can just sit it out and see how this set would conclude regardless. Do we play the Iono? I assume we've got the 1 Iono in both of these decks.
1 Iono for Gage, and then
1 Iono for Clint, so a very respectable total of 2 Ionos over 120 cards. But it might work out. There's a lot of energy on the board.
yeah, Clint's pretty set up from here, even though Slitherwing KOs itself here. Clint is a bolt veteran, you are very correct. Clint seems pretty set. He still has 5 energy on board, enough to attack next turn. Gage, I don't think he can take a KO on this bolt right now. He doesn't have a Pikachu powered up. He does have 2 energy attached to the Miraidon, but if he were to push that to the active, Clint has an easy 2 prizes the following turn.
Very true. So what do we do in this situation? I believe...
Scoop, I already told you.
Well, let's give Gage the benefit of the doubt and let's look for a line that might be there, right? So we could attack with Galvantula, Iono to 2. Depending on how many cards Clint has in hand, I would consider attacking with Galvantula, not Iono. Then Iono him to 1 when he takes the knockout and force him to discard, 3 energy for Galvantula?
Yeah, it's... does Gage play a Defiance Band? That's a very good question. There's a Vitality Band, but no Defiance banned. We do see the Blood Moon hitting the board here. Blood Moon KOing the active. Couple that with an Iono. That would be all 3 fighting energy in the discard for Clint. Clint would then need to find energy retrieval, which he's used one of, or a Professor Sardis. So this could be the play right here, and just hoping that Clint doesn't have a way to get the fighting energy back. But we will see.
Oh,
Charm helping out, bringing it up to 290. Let's do some times tables real quick. That's 7 times 5 to take a KO.
yeah, we're going to take out 2 energy, and as you already mentioned, the fighting energy will have to be recycled as well. Sadly, it won't be combined with the Iono. That would have really sealed this play and given it most chance to succeed. But what could we follow it up with in the form of an item card and a tool card, I wonder?
Gage, he'd probably want to see the switch, to be completely honest. Whether that is Prime Catcher or an Ultra Ball. Is that a Maractus? Does he play a Maractus? No, what am I talking about?
Continuing on the other side, it says
Volcanion. Yeah.
Volcanion, Lily's, Clefairy, and Latias. That must be. What is it? What is that on the far side? If Chad can help us out.
A Volcanion.
It's a Volcanion. Is it the nice alternate art?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Volcanion full art. There we go. Oh, and we see Professor Sada's in hand. Clint's got the game locked up. Sada, boom, boom. Gage scooping up. He knows what's up. Clint winning game 1. Well done, mate. The double champions map. As they shuffle up, which do you think is better? I like how Clint has matched his to the deck he's playing, but it is the Suns, so he loses a point for that.
I agree. Yeah. And Latias, sorry, what is it? Lapras? Lapras is a fan favorite. You know?
I mustn't be a fan then. I think it's terrible personally.
Do you really?
I think Lapras is it's carried by the fact that it was one of Ash's Pokemon.
Yeah, but it was a bit of a whiny Pokemon as well, though, right? It was very clingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a 10-year-old, Ash really knew how to deal with that properly, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lapras is a pretty cool Pokemon. Sadly, the EX never really got on.
There was
maybe
the
one day.
Lapras VMAX, which people liked for about 10 minutes.
True.
I couldn't tell you what it did, but some people liked it.
Yeah, and I think Lapras GX at one point was pretty good. I think that had some room in the format that it was legal for, but I don't think we played back then. Neither of us did.
No.
So we'll leave that up to chat to comment on that if anyone knows more about that. But yeah, Raging Bolt is a pretty cool Pokemon, so I'll pick Raging Bolt in this case.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on this one there, Vinny. Both players going for 3 rows of 2 in terms of their prizes. Not for me personally. I want my 2 rows of 3, which I have brought up multiple times. I don't know if anyone can hear those dogs barking, but Vinny's just taking his shoes off. All right.
It's getting very busy in here. Badger, really a very lively place.
That it is. Gage selecting to go second in the matchup, as you would want to. Clint seeing a Earthen Vessel getting rid of a Grass energy, getting the 2 flavors of Raging Bolt energy right now. I don't see... going for a second Earthen Vessel, getting out 2 more flavors of Raging Bolt. Oh no, one fighting, 1 grass. So we see a grass and a fighting in the discard for Clint there. It doesn't seem... what do we have there? Badger Dog versus Darksphere Elevator. That's a good question.
The Darksphere Elevator did also sound like a whiny dog at some point.
But it was really good because at the end of the day, I don't know if anyone was still around then, we turned into an ASMR stream because there was no one else left in the store, and without the elevator to drown us out, we had to whisper.
We did.
And just a attach pass to Clint there. No further board. Not in the best position right now. Gage with the Arvin, you have to think this would be rescue board, Nest Ball getting the Miraidon, rescue board attaching to the Pikachu, Miraidon getting out the Joltik, and 1 further, probably No Iron Hands. Clint didn't get down a single hoot hoot the previous game because he's not playing any. And Gage seems like the kind of player that would have picked up on that. So if I'm Gage, I'm getting Miraidon. Miraidon gets me Joltik and a second Pikachu. And then I can start running back Pikachu KOs.
Well, depending on the outcome here, I might ask you to fill in a lottery ticket for me later because it looks like you might be able to foresee the future. Yeah, so far so good. We found Miraidon on the nest ball. What did you say? Joltik and Iron Hands?
No, Joltik and Pikachu.
Joltik
Second Pikachu. We do have 2 on the list from Gage there.
It looks like the alternate or Pikachu Joltik.
And then an Iron Hands.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so no lottery ticket for me later. Gage maybe respecting the potential of the Slitherwing to be able to respond to that with the 2 prize turn regardless.
Or the second Pikachu could be prized.
That's also a very good point.
Unfortunately, we don't have prize cameras. That's a work in progress. But we are seeing a 2-2 split of energy. 2 on the Pikachu, 2 on the hands. Clint, we need to see a strong turn from him. It doesn't look like he's got a lot going right now. And picking up that prime catcher, you don't want to be burst rolling.
Ooh, yeah, that would be very, very unfortunate indeed.
Poke catcher, can he make it 3? No, he cannot.
Oh.
All right, Clint in a really rough position. If he's not able to get down another Pokemon, and Gage is able to get a Metal Energy to that Pikachu, that'll be game.
So it would be. I don't think Clint is very much phased by that, though. He's up 1 game. You're happy to get a brick in when you are up 1 game. So
a prime catcher to bring the Iron Hands up because it has the highest retreat cost, and with only 2 energy, it's asking a lot to get it out of the active. And then just a burst roll. If Gage is able to get a Crispin and a Future Booster energy capsule, it'll be a quick game too. But we'll see.
yeah, and Arvin would be ideal. We can find our Earthen Vessel for the Metal Energy and the Future Booster Capsule, as you mentioned, to free retreat this Iron Hands. But there's a couple of options. We can also do it with Latias. That's the Arvin.
See the Arvin.
Being played immediately.
Are they prized is the question.
We do only play 1 copy of each card, so there's a fair chance of them being prized. We already see the Future Booster there. But is the Vessel there?
Oh no! Vessel prized. You hate to see it.
You hate to see it, yeah. No, it is very fair to not price check those cards. You know, you might need them at some point, but yeah, it's only a one-off, and you can only do so much price checking for each game. But
unless it's in hand, doesn't look like it. Oh, that hurts. But going for the nest ball, you'd assume for the Pheasantipity, hoping to find it off the 3 cards. Clint's had some really good luck. Is Gage going to get that same luck here?
Oh, we actually haven't had a knockout come out, right? So Pheasantipity isn't live.
Pranked. Just making sure everyone at home
giving us our
fooled by
toes.
that.
Of course. What can we do? We can go for another jolting charge.
Yep. Gage is playing the Latias. Volcanion, also smart. Personally, I'd go for the Latias for the free retreat into the Joltik, accelerate further.
But it is the Pheasantipity in the end, as you mentioned.
I hope I didn't prank Gage. Is the Latias already down? Is the Glare just... No, he attacks the Future Booster Energy Capsule.
Yeah, so that's how we're retreating 4-0 energy here, and we are just charging up a few more Pokemon. Still not a bad position to be in for Gage.
100%. Clint, he needs a fair bit right now. A boss would get him the ability to bring up Pheasantipity. So a boss plus turn attach could take a KO on Fez, but Clint's only running 1 boss. Let's see. We've got the Bolt.
We did get a fresh 6 cards of the Burst Roar with our attachment, our draw for turn as well. So we got a lot more cards to work with.
No way. Oh. All right, Clint, there we go. Law of averages. He's hit 50%.
Yeah,
Coin flips, famously only having 2 outcomes, either heads or tails. And Clint has hit 2 of each. We see a Sada to attach to the active and to the benched Roaring Moon. Fighting energy to the bench, grass to the active. If I had to guess, that grass would probably be going in the discard. Clint with no other way to bring up any benched Pokemon on Gage's side, looking like he'll be taking a single prize on the Jolter.
yeah, and there's a lot of energy on Gage's side, so he's fairly comfortable to start navigating these following turns and finding the Gust cards for himself to start getting ahead in these prizes.
I will say that energy on the Iron Hands not looking like it's going to be doing too much for Clint right now. Does Gage play counter catcher? Taking a look through it, I don't think he does.
He does not know. Just the 4 balls and the Prime Catcher.
All right. So we will see how Gage wants to go from here, but it's looking like Clint. There we go. Just a single prize, a grass energy. That's 3 grass in the discard already for Clint. Those absolutely stumbling on that word. Those grass not being as helpful as the fighting or light energy flavors that we like. While they can still be accelerated by Sada, none of the Pokemon that Clint wants to be attacking with will be using those most of the time.
Is there an argument for Clint to have discarded the fighting energy in this case, just to be able to respond with Slithering? Because currently, all of his fighting, 2 out of 3 of the fighting energy are locked on his boards.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You would assume that Gage would be taking a return KO with Pikachu this turn, so he is bailed out on that front. No, he's not. Attacking with the Miraidon, taking the KO on Clint's draw engine here. Also meaning that the fighting energy, like you just said, is stuck on the Raging Bolt. Clint cannot be attacking with Raging Bolt this turn without a hard retreat from one of the Raging Bolts.
Yeah, so no single price attacking options for Clint available next turn. Very nice play here from Gage. Also able to still support the 4 turn because of the Prime Catcher being used. Going to grab the Nest Ball and the Bravery Charm out of the deck before ending his turn here. I was going to say before flipping the script, but that was already used.
Where's the Bravery Charm going? Because if we're doing some 7 times tables class, what benefits him the most? I don't... Outside of the Joltik, which has already gone down, there's nothing that it really matters too much. Pikachu...
Pheasantipity,
that's still 3... Sorry. Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
So Pheasantipity or Pikachu, but Pikachu is not really going to matter with the ability. But Pheasantipity could be the target, but we don't actually see it come down yet.
No. We've got a Sada in hand from Clint here. Attaching a grass to each bolt, drawing for 3 cards. We see the Slitherwing Nest Ball in there. So Slitherwing could come down, start to put on some single prize pressure. Try saying that 5 times real fast. And he could also grab a Teal Mask Ogerpon just to continue with that draw engine. Clint's version of Raging Bolt doesn't have the same access to supporters that the Noctowl version does, so Clint needs a way to continue running through his deck. Previously, that was Radiant Greninja and Pokestop, but those are long gone. Yellow border cards, don't want them.
Don't like him anyway.
No.
So yeah, as we discussed earlier, Clint finding creative ways to fill those spaces with the cycling roads, and just some good cards otherwise. Some other just good cards like the Jamming Tower, like the Switches, and filling up those spaces that Owls would fill in more conventional Raging Bolt decks. But with Nest Bolt for the Pheasantipity, we're already ready to take the 2 prizes for this turn, But how are we going to set up ourselves for the next couple of turns after that?
We see a Slitherwing, the final fighting energy attached to the Slitherwing. Looking at Clint's list now, I'm seeing he's gone to a greedy 5 grass energy. That's bold. That's
Yeah.
Clint's list, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Gone down to 5.
It's very low.
Yeah.
You are right.
Thankfully, Clint has marked which energy he's playing in his deck. Kiyoshi, famously in his wish list cut, put down 12 energy. He put down 3 basic energy, 3 basic energy, and 6 basic energy. Got a game loss for it. Luckily, got to swap out the energy with energy. So he wasn't punished too much in the long run. But you know, I feel like it's becoming a running theme of making sure everyone knows Kiyoshi can be a doofus on the stream. Nothing against the guy, I love him to bits.
Yeah, you're right. Pokemon Kiyoshi 1, 2, 3. Kiyoshi does sound like a bit of an idiot. We saw the Palpat come in for recycling 2 Sadas, I believe, on Clint's side. And we're pretty ready for the next couple of turns. We've got Slitherwing. And I assume Clint's going to be discarding the fighting energy for his Bowling Thunder for the turn. But it feels like a little bit too late. We're going to be taking 2. Gage is going to respond with Pikachu. Then we're going to respond with Slithering. And Gage already has the Iron Hands ready to take his final 2 prizes on that. So let's see what ways Clint can play around that potential future.
Vinny, if you wanted to borrow my catchphrase for this round, I'd be willing to lend it to you.
I think it's 1 turn too late for Clint. I think it's time to scoop it up, Zane.
I'm agreeing with you there, Gabe, Vinny. But we'll see. There's still 20 minutes left on the clock, and these are 2 pretty fast decks. I think both players being aware of the time left and knowing that a couple extra turns might not be the worst thing in the world.
No, indeed.
So we'll see how Clint wants to play this one out. Gage, Roaring Moon hitting the bench, future-proofing himself. If Clint were to take this 2 prize knockout somehow, Gage would just need a boss, no energy attachment, because Clint's gone down to 3 prizes.
Yeah. It's a very discussed mechanic of the Pokemon game, the prizes, but it's also what makes it so unique, right?
100%. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Clint obviously will want to be coming up with the Slitherwing next turn, making it even harder for Gage, making him have to take a boss or a Prime Catcher KO. Gage able to do so. The free pivot on the Iron Hands, meaning that he can do that relatively easily. We will see Crispin there, I think attaching to a Pokemon.
Yeah. Is it the second Pikachu?
I think.
Oh, it's a Lily's Clefairy.
Very smart.
I was a bit worried there because Pikachu in the active only is still missing the metal energy, but is it potentially prized? Or there's 2 of them in the list?
Possibly. Kiyoshi, also a Raging Bolt aficionado, advising us here that he's done now. No point. Kiyoshi himself saying he should scoop it up, basically. But we will see. We'll see how Clint wants to play this out. Taking the 3 from Flip the Script, and then swinging with Pikachu's Topaz Bolt for the final, for 2 more prizes, discarding 3 energy attached to the active Pikachu.
Yeah. But it's going to be the full moon rondo first for these 2 prizes.
You're right. Kind of future-proofing himself here again. Anything that Clint wants to put up, he can attack, or he can KO with the Pikachu. It also critically means that Clint can't take an easy 2 prizes with Slitherwing. He needs to gust something else up, which we've seen 2 Pokemon catchers already. We've seen the Prime Catcher as well. Clint needs to roll into his last Poke Catcher.
Or boss.
Or boss. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Or maybe we've seen that one as well. I'm not sure. It's starting to look like Clint's cooked.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Never say never. Justin Bieber taught me that, but
True.
I don't know how he's coming back. I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't wait to see it, but I'm willing to be surprised, willing to be shocked.
For sure. That's what's so great about trading card games like Pokemon. There's so many lines, so many creative ways of winning games. And maybe Clint's got one up his sleeve still. Still got some surprises for us in store.
What are we seeing coming down there? Is that the Iron Bundle?
I think it is the very nice promo.
Is that the ETB promo?
I believe so.
Pop quiz. What does ETB stand for?
Is it Elite Trainer box? I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of sealed formats or just sealed product in
No,
general.
I'm more of a manatee kind of guy myself, but
I think I would go for a seal line.
yeah.
But
We'll see what Clint wants to do here. Bundle used, Gauge, looking to promote. It's looking like the Iron Bundle. Not the Iron Bundle, sorry, the Blood Moon. I don't know how I got that.
it is the Blood Moon with the Bravery Charm, so it's out of range of Slitherwing as well. A bit hard to get out of the active though.
That it is. We see the Pheasantipity from Clint. Gauge does play the Latias, so it would just take a Nest Ball for him to be able to get that out of the active, but he would also need a gusting option himself. Poker gear from Clint. Probably dig in for a Sada, if I had to guess.
Why not? We definitely like getting more energy in play.
Yeah, we will see. From the 7, he is grabbing a boss. Seems counterintuitive after having just used the Iron Bundle, but probably saving it for next turn. Probably promoting the Slitherwing from here, making Gauge really work for those last 2 prizes.
Well, it might be the line like that Pokemon Kyoshi123 in chat mentioned, where we boss up the Iron Hands and have the fighting energy from hand for turn, which would make it a lot harder for Gauge to get 2 prizes without gusting.
Clint needs an energy retrieval though, because we've seen 1 energy on the Slitherwing and the other 2 fighting have hit the discard already.
Yeah, so it would have to be Night Searcher or Energy Retrieval. Do we have it?
Nest Ball? I have no clue, Vinnie.
Yeah, no, it's quite hard to identify what is in Clint's hand. It's fairly big, and we are looking at a fairly small screen as well.
Yeah.
And we're still working on making it better for us casters, but luckily you guys can put it on full screen. Sadly, currently we can't. We see the Cyrus shouting at us from the front of Clint's hand.
Right. Chat thinking that he has Stretcher in hand, so doable. Clint could possibly, now this is a stretch here, he could Slitherwing attack, do 240. He could then get the burn, which does 260, going into Gauge's turn. If Gauge is unable to get rid of it, he could then do a further 20 damage from the burn. Looking at Clint's list, does he have, he's got Jamming Tower. So Clint could get a burn, he doesn't even need the second burn. He could get the 1 burn, leave Blood Moon stuck in the active, Jamming Tower on his final turn, and then take the last prize from there. So he's not out of it yet.
No, indeed, but we do see the Night Searcher come down.
You see the switch.
Which is interesting.
He wants to see more cards with the Mew.
That would be the only reason.
Clint's got your favourite combo, the Mew Fizz. Even if he hits the Jamming Tower, I think he holds it. I think he holds it to stop Gauge from getting more cards. But he has to attack and pray. Ooh, bosses.
The Pikachu. Interesting. So that gives Gauge a win con with boss.
There we go, yeah, boss. Yeah, Blood Moon.
Yeah. Boss Blood Moon, Boss Lily's Clefairy. There was quite a few options there for.
I think he had to make the move of hoping for Jamming Tower the following turn. But, you know, we have Cast Division, we are not stressing, and that's the main difference. I've played in plenty of games where people come up to me afterwards and say, why did you do that stupid thing when you could have done this to win it?
Yep.
And I sit there gobsmacked. So
Yeah,
You know?
you do tend to get locked into certain lines when you're playing yourself. But luckily for Kiyoshi in chat, he won't have to Iono himself his opponent from 0 to 6 because he said if Gage didn't have boss next turn, he would do that on
He'd do
stream.
that for free. I know him personally, and I know that
Yeah,
something he loves doing. Coming into game 3 here, Clint choosing whether to go first or second. You would think he's going to pick to go second, make Gage go first, try and set the board up incredibly well. Clint can't go with the Noctel start of trying to present Gage with a single prize board. So he's just going to go out swinging, hope to set up well, and then take a 2 prize turn on his second turn.
I think so. I think so, Zane. And I also believe Clint is a very big fan of donking his opponent.
Is he?
Yeah, yesterday I caught him saying like, "Oh, at least let me get one donk today."
Yeah.
And going second does give you that option to win a cheeky game as well.
Ooh, we see a mulligan from Gage. Not the worst thing. The thing about Joltic Box is that if you can get one form of Pokemon search down, you are never getting donked because you are
True.
getting Miraidon and you're getting 2 additional Pokemon with that. So while I'm sure Clint would love the donk, I don't think this is the matchup where he'll get it done. It's not impossible, however. If he's able, or if Gage is stuck with one single Pokemon and no access to additional search, and that one Pokemon isn't Miraidon, it could happen.
It could be very scary. It's always scary going up to Raging Bolt and having to go first.
That it is. So we will see what Gage is able to start. We see the 7 cards coming
Yep.
down.
We're only 13 minutes left for this round as well.
We see the 1 Pokemon come down. I couldn't quite see. Gage also a 3 rows of 2 man. We see the final fist bump and it's Joltik.
It's Joltik.
Do we have Pokemon search?
Come on. Is that a nest ball?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh.
It's a Miraidon. There we go. It's the tandem unit. It's the unit coming in to widen Gage's board already from the start.
Absolute unit of a Pokemon. What more can we say? It's going to get the 2 lightning Pokemon down. Gage looking like a Pikachu, and you would think he would have noticed not to get the hands down just yet. After 2 games and not seeing a single Hoot Hoot, Rotom or Noctowl, you could make that assumption.
Yeah, we're just chilling with the 1 Pikachu, 1 Miraidon on the bench, and
Pass directly back into Clint. Clint, if he can get the Iron Bundle down, Sada, it's not impossible for him to take a 2 prize turn right now. It's a wee bit, especially without Greninja or Pokestop, but it's not unheard of.
definitely not. We do have Squawkabilly in the deck. We have Mew EX for more cards. We have the Cycling Rotocycle. We love being funny on stream, don't we? But we're starting off with the Teal Mask Pokemon onto the bench and an Earthen Vessel pitching away a Fighting Energy, I believe. And I suppose we're going to grab at least 1 grass. Oh, we started with a Prime Catcher in hand again. Yeah.
But if he can hit a Sada, he can potentially get it done.
Yeah. So maybe we go for a grass and fighting. Hope to draw into Pokemon Search with the Teal Mask Cycle. Get the Slitherwing. Then
If he can, it's
greedy, but I mean, almost have to
greedy.
go for it.
I don't think you have to. I think you know that Gage is going to have to take next turn to power up. You've got time. You've got breathing room. I think establish a good board. Don't waste the Prime Catcher because Gage can comfortably get whatever you Prime Catcher up out of the active. I think just take this turn, set up, get the 2 energy you need, and go next turn hand.
Yeah, I would respect that line as well. It does look like you can do both. You can cycle a Teal Mask first and see afterwards.
That you can. I think ideal. Do we see a Sada in hand? I can't quite tell. I don't think so. Teal
So
Mask.
what are we getting?
Teal Dance for 1.
It is the bundle.
Iron Bundle.
It's a card we need, but is it going to help us right now?
Alright. Poke Catcher. There we go. Oh, we see the Miraidon coming up. Now, Clint, he needs a Sada. He needs a second ancient Pokemon. And he needs...
Sada.
Yeah, Sada and a second ancient Pokemon, and he's got the KO here. He's got 2 energy in the discard, and he's got whatever... He's got the lightning in hand. So if he can get down another Raging Bolt, which I think he might be able to, that's an Ultra Ball. He just needs the Sada now. Although this could be the Squawkabilly for the Squawk and Seeds.
Yeah, it looks like the last card in hand will be the Prime Catcher.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts to get rid of it this early. There you go. Clint, he's on 60% from the catches so far. 3 from 5.
Yep. If statistics, well, there's no way of knowing, right? Because even it's the funny statement of if you flip heads 10 times, what are the odds of flipping heads the next time?
Yeah, it's 50-50. You know, the numbers don't lie. And I don't quite think they spell disaster for anyone at the moment, but they could going forwards. We're seeing the attach, and Clint's hoping. Oh, that hurts. But if he's able to get a KO, he's laughing.
There's 3 Pokegear and 4 Sada in deck.
All right, he can continue to cycle. He's got another Teal Mask Ogerpon. Teal Dance.
And a Crispin, so that could get him the fighting energy for his attack. So I feel like he's ready to.
And he's got the Nest Ball. I don't see a Sada, but yeah, the Crispin would do it. The Crispin would get him the fighting energy with 2 in discard, however. God, you would hope that the last one's not.
No. I think we saw it.
Right. What's he doing?
A little bit of a cheeky recheck of his deck.
And there's the Crispin. Getting lightning. Oh no!
It's not there, guys.
Oh, Clint. Oh, buddy, mate. Oh no.
Is it in hand? No, I think it's a grass. So yeah, with 3 copies of a certain card, the likelihood of prizing at least 1 is pretty high.
Yeah. Oh, that must hurt. He was right there. He's double checking.
Being punished for grabbing the fighting energy of the vessel early instead of the lightning energy.
Oh, mate, that must hurt. The thing is, Clint is still in a really good position. Gage still needs to take a turn to KO.
Very true.
And
Yep.
Clint can look to set up. But it's not where he'd like to be. He'd like to be taking a KO this turn. But this is where he is. And that's fine. Gage still needing to retreat the active Miraidon. So he'll need an Arvin for a board. He'll need an Arvin for a Nest Ball. He's got a Nest Ball, so he can get the Latias. He can be retreating this turn. And then Clint needs a Gust, which he has in the Iron Bundle. If I were Gage, I would Miraidon for a second Jolting.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea, Zane. I feel like the players need to pick up their pace a little bit because we're going down to 6 minutes on the clock and we're still 6-6. Even for aggressive decks, that's not a lot of time still.
Burst rules, nothing else to do. 4 energy in the discard. 3 on the Ogerpons already, 1 in the discard. There's 1 grass left. Clint is pretty low on resources right now in terms of energies.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see how Gage is going to go from here though. Nest Ball gets him, one would assume Latias. Then if I were him, I would Miraidon, Pikachu and Joltik. That means even if Clint uses Iron Bundle, you can just put up another single prize. That is assuming that both Joltik aren't prized, but we will see.
Hold on, Gage is eyeing up the Lily's Clefairy of the Nest Ball. If we have a Crispin in hand, we could be taking a knockout, but that it's going to force us to, yeah, it's going to be hard to chain knockouts after that. So I think we're just going to play the safe route, play it a little bit faster though, have the Crispin for a turn to get the energy for the Jolting Charge and accelerate onto one of the Pikachus, well, the only Pikachu.
Right, Crispin starting to get some energy down on the board. I think, yeah, slap that Psychic in hand, get it ready for the turn after.
Yeah, and just get your turn over pretty quickly. Reggie Ball famously takes quite long turns, a bit reminiscent of the Mew VMAX of old days in that way. So we have to respect that part. Getting Pikachu charged up, Miraidon ready to attack as well.
We see the night stretch for Clint there that can get back one of the fighting energies he needs to attack. Gage didn't get down a second jolt hit, so an Iron Bundle. You would assume it goes into the Poke Gear. Sorry, Iron Bundle you would assume goes into the Pikachu. Poke Gear here for Sada, so we're getting 2 fighting energy that are in the discard onto the Pokemon, probably Slitherwing and the Raging Bolt.
Yeah, but that will still not allow you to attack the Slitherwing, right? Because we know the third fighting is prized.
And we don't have a Latias, quite possibly. Yeah, so you could bundle, see what Gage brings up. He brings up the Pikachu. You could attach one single energy to the Slitherwing. You can still use the Stretcher to get out the second fighting energy.
Yeah.
And hope that you Sada into a switch here.
Yeah, I think that's the play for Clint right now.
Smart. So he attaches the fighting to Slitherwing, second lightning to the Raging Bolt. Tahiroa Toru into the switch.
Oh,
my
switch.
God.
My goodness.
The luck of this man.
We have to respect it. There's 2 raw switches in deck. There were still a couple of Tail Mask Pokemon cycles available to him. But yeah, he does manage to find all of the pieces that he needs to attack with this Slitherwing, and that's going to be really, really tough for Gage to respond to this.
Right.
Slight punish there, depending on whether or not the second Joltik was prized for Gage.
Yeah, quite possibly. So yeah, we will be seeing Slitherwing's first attack. He hasn't taken the prizes yet, but just pretend he has in this instance.
Oh yeah, I apologize for being a bit too fast there.
So right, happens to the best of us. He grabs the Mew out, protecting himself against being put to a low hand size, and then takes the KO. 90 damage to himself, burn finishing off the Pikachu there. Gage, promoting the Jolt hit, is able to attack with the Miraidon this turn. If he can get the second lightning energy attached to it, could potentially take out the Raging Bot on the bench, but then Slitherwing is still ready to attack. That Miraidon is still fighting weak. Clint, off to a commanding start after a heartbreaker of a turn 1.
Yeah. Is there a way for Gage to KO the Ogerpon of the bench, locking those only 2 fighting energy onto the Slitherwing, forcing Clint to take the KO with that, and then maybe Iron Hands in the Squawk ability, but it's going to be tough. There's not enough energy on the board, on the Iron Hands, to go for that turn.
I wouldn't tell Gage to scoop right now as it's game 3, but if it were game 1, I might.
Yeah.
It's a tough position to be in. He has the boss in hand. He can take out Ogerpon. All right. So Clint, right this second, unless he took the fighting energy from the prizes, he's not swinging with Raging Bolt. Mew for the free retreat. Clint gassing. Nest Ball. Pheasantipity, one would assume. Maybe not. What's he thinking?
Maybe it's prized as well. We don't see it. Oh, it's an Ogerpon instead.
All right. Absolutely gassing. I think he sees that there's only about a minute left on the clock. If Clint can take... Actually, from this position, both players are fine if it goes to time. They're still going for a 2-2-2 race, so it's time's kind of whatever at this point.
I guess you don't want to be stalled out for the tie. At that point, it becomes a coin flip on who
See,
wins.
a poker catcher. Clint back to 50% odds. Proving mathematicians everywhere correct. We see a Sada attaching a grass energy to the Raging Bolt. Thinking about it, doesn't want it.
Nothing else.
Yeah. Jamming Tower, Cycle Road, and I think a Nest Ball. Cycle Road, getting rid of the lightning energy, getting another lightning energy for his troubles.
Looks like we're about to go into time.
energy retrieval? No, that
It
is
is a superior energy retrieval.
Ah, I lied. Clint could grab. Yep, getting rid of the
Yeah, time's being called here on Clint's turn. Clint will be turn 0, giving both players 2 more turns to finish up this game, which is enough on paper.
I don't think there's anyone on 101, as far as I'm aware. If I were in Clint's position or Gage's position, however, I would be asking for a gentleman's from my opponent, just to make sure that one of the two of them gets a win. We see Teal Mask, Teal Dance into Teal Dance. Clint
Still has no better attacker but the Slitherwing at the moment.
However, oh wait, no, he's got no. I was going to say, Slitherwing would attack KO itself this turn.
Yeah.
If Gage had an Iron Hand set up, he could have gone for the Amp You Very Much onto the Squawk ability, but there is no Iron Hand set up. So,
No, indeed. We haven't seen the Jamming Tower come down, but the Blood Moon with the Bravery Charm could be very difficult for Clint to KO currently.
if Gage is able to take the KO on the Raging Bolt with the Blood Moon here, Clint could be in a tough position.
Have we seen the Prime Catcher for Gage yet?
Not that I'm aware of. This is coming down to a clincher.
So Prime Catcher Iono could be very scary for Clint. Let's see what happens. We're going to use this something attack from Slitherwing.
Yeah, not Stomp Off, because that does one.
Does
No, we're talking about Gage here, not Clint, for Prime Catcher. I don't think we've seen Prime Catcher from Gage yet. All right, so Gage. Yeah, we're still talking about Gage, not Clint with the Prime Catcher. Yeah.
Could we potentially take a KO with Galvantula on the Mew EX combined with the Prime Catcher as well? Keeping Blood Moon to finish and forcing Clint to find Gust again.
Quite possibly.
So Galvantula bench the second Joltik.
How much does Galvantula do? It does 80 plus 50.
Yeah, and then 50 more if the opponent, the active Pokemon, has an ability.
So that's 180.
Exactly.
If he had a Defiance Band, it would work. But
would.
Gage runs Vitality. Oh, on the Mew, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
the Mew or the Squawk are both
Yeah.
good targets for this.
Alrighty. Really coming down.
So we've
To
seen
the
the
line.
flip the script. Nest Ball coming out next.
Gage also with the option to Cycling Road, discarding the 1 energy, drawing 1 more card. What is that? I can't tell.
Me neither. I think it's a Volcanion. Oh no, it's a Mew EX. It's a nice.
So the Joltik, we could be doing it. We could be seeing it.
We do need Gust, however. Because if we're attacking with this, we're not going to take enough prizes for turn.
There's the Gust.
There's the Gust, but no disruption, so...
Alright, Clint.
We have no Prime Catcher. We have at least 2 Pokemon Catcher down. We have a single boss and no Fizz, no Mew to find it. Do we have enough?
Clint. Gage has importantly got down the second Joltik. A Iron Bundle wouldn't do it. An Iron Bundle would see Joltik promoted. Better late than never. Clint needs energy retrieval. Clint needs a boss. He's got a Pokegear in hand. He's wishing that he hadn't. There's the energy retrieval. He's wishing he hadn't put those Sadas back now, because that's just added deck space that you need to try and draw through.
Yeah, we're Cycling Road first. It's an Ultra Ball. We can thin our deck further.
Can get a. I don't think we've seen Pheasantipity yet. You got to thin. Thinning is winning. And we will see how Clint wants to. He's pondering. He's thinking.
I think Pheasantipity was prized. If he had taken it last turn, we would have seen it come down already.
Pokegear? Alright,
Pokegear
Big 7.
first.
Tahiroa, Toru, Whaarimo, Ono, Whitu. Waru.
Oh,
there
there's
it
the
is.
boss!
Oh my god, he's got it. He's got that energy retrieval.
Hold on. Does he have a target? Oh,
Yeah.
he's got the fighting energy.
Oh, there he goes, and Clint wins it, taking it out. Oh my goodness.
Incredible end there. Incredible final turn.
Even though this was a short cup, absolute banger of a last match, I think.
For sure, yeah. Clint taking the victory, Gage identifying the best line possible for him, making it very hard for Clint there. Uh, Even though I would have loved to see more thinning before the poke gear, he
Yeah.
managed to find it anyway. So
You
no
know,
punish there. And
if it's stupid and it works, then it's not stupid.
it's true, yeah.
There we go. And Clint doesn't care about statistics.
No,
He
indeed.
hits it.
He just always has it.
He does.
If you're that kind of person, you don't care. You just always have it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
I've been thoroughly entertained from these ones today. I
For
think
sure.
We've had some really good matches on stream. It'll be interesting to see if Kai wins his top match for a second Father-Son Cup takeaway. But regardless of what happens, Clint's got to be happy with his performance, as does Gage. Unfortunate to come away at second there, but Clint just had it.
he definitely did. Yeah, in true Raging Ball player fashion.
Yeah.
He just knows what he's doing. You know,
100%.
he's sequencing correctly, getting the right Pokemon down. Noctowl, he doesn't know or care about that card.
No.
He's just like cycling through everything else.
Onga
and,
Bunga Raging Bolt is the
Bunga
way to
Bunga.
go, it seems.
Yeah. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, 100%. I want to give a huge shout out to Badger Badger today for
Yeah.
being so accommodating, having us in the spot. It's been great to be here. Awesome change of scenery. Hoping
sure.
to continue to make our way around the London stores. If you are watching from home, you're in a store, coastal store, you want us in your store, send us a message through your Twitch channel.
Yeah, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find me. Honestly, reach out to me. I'd love to. We'd love to come and host your local cups and give your stores a little bit more exposure.
100%.
Badger Badger, as you said, is a lovely shop.
It is.
Yeah, very busy. Not just Pokemon cards. You can play a lot of board games here. Great drink selection, great food selection. I've not looked at it, but it smells amazing.
Yeah, I've been sitting here hungry, sniffing the kitchen the whole time.
Yeah, same.
Really doing
Very
it.
much the same here. I'm sure we can find us a bite around here.
I think so. Also, huge shout out to our TOs and our head judge Luke today, who has been awesome and accommodating for all of this. Couldn't do it without them. They are the lifeblood of this community. Thank your local judge next time you're at an event. They are giving up their time to be there, to not play, and to make sure that you're having as good a time as possible.
Very true. Yeah, and thanks to Play London as well for helping us find the cups, reach out to the TOs, as you mentioned, the judges, and organize these streams. Thank you so much. To answer Kiyoshi in chat, what's next for us? We're at the end of the season, so there's no more cups after today. I think there might be one tomorrow, but we don't have, or challenges tomorrow.
Yeah.
No more cups. There is one interesting event at Dark Sphere, the Ruby Sapphire Prism Keepers, or
I think so. It's way back when.
yeah, it's a retro format. If you hadn't called onto that, and we're going to be hosting that tournament. It will be a couple rounds of Swiss with the top 4, I believe.
That it will.
Shout out to. I'm gonna have to check my Twitter here. I don't want to mispronounce. It's Patrick at Dark Sphere, who's leading the retro format, the retro community there, and. We'll be preparing for that. I've not played any games of that format really. So
No, it'll be interesting to get into it. I've read and seen a lot about it, but never played it myself. So it'll
me
be
neither.
interesting and exciting to watch. Different rules back then as well. Supporters on the first turn, attacking on the first turn.
yeah, and I think the one that really always stands out to me is if you win the coin flip, you have to go first.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So there's no deciding. If you win the coin flip, you have to go first.
There you go. News to me.
Yeah, the game has changed quite a lot. I think I started with first turn supporters.
Yeah.
It's at the end of Sun and Moon.
Yeah, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield. When Sword and Shield first started was when they phased out turn 1 supporters. Because I think we got Marnie in Sword and Shield base set. And people realised they didn't want that.
No,
Not at all.
All right, yeah, that's it for us, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And the RSPK event is in quite a while. It will be on the 22nd of May. But after that, when the next season picks up, I'm sure we will be hosting quite a few more cups.
100%. Thank you everyone for tuning in, having a listen, having a watch along. We hope to see you in the future. Taranaki Hardcore. Let's go.
Let's
Up the
go.
Wires. Wires are having a
Yeah.
great season. Anything you want to sign off with, Vinnie?
No, just thank you everyone for supporting us. It's been great. I love the Pokemon community. Very welcoming community.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, see you guys next time.
Cheers, everybody.